Wait with that green light. Let's get it. And we are on. Hey guys, how you going? So down BKRsport. Let it all work out. Had a beautiful sleep last night. Beautiful sleep last night with the Champions League final. But obviously that is a completely different sport. And today we have the Brisbane Broncos taking on the St George Illawarra Dragons in what should be a relatively interesting game here because the Broncos are getting their players back and obviously they've been struggling so far this season. They are sitting there in 11th, but if we're talking about struggling, we have to talk about their opposition today, which is the St George Illawarra Dragons, who sit down there in 17th and unfortunately have not won a game so far through this season. They've played, 11 games now or 12 games? They've played 11 games so far and unfortunately still have not won. Their last win coming all the way back in round 23 of last season, where they beat the Sharkies, who actually play next week. So, look, Dragons fans, even if you don't win here today, there is actually going to be a little bit of chatter that maybe next week is the one for you. Because, again, the last time you did win a game was against the Cronulla Sharks in round 23 of last year. But anyway, let's get into the two-team lineups here, and let's see how this one should be playing out here today. So, obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new around here, and let's get into it. So, the Brisbane Broncos, they come into this game from 11th position, and the Dragons come into this game from 17th position, and this is at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. The ins for the Broncos: Brendan Piakura, Grant Anderson, Jack Kasevsky, Tony Staggs, and Payne Haas, with the outs being Orblex Taffa, Hayes Perham, Jaden Hunt, Jordan Ricky, and Philip Coates. So Jordan Ricky's a big out there, but they do get some massive ins. Tony Staggs is a huge in. Brendan Piakura, a big one as well. Jack Kasevsky, underrated. Grant Anderson is a solid enough player, but he's onto the bench there. And Payne Haas, obviously absolutely massive. That's the one that you're really looking for there. That is absolutely huge for the Broncos and for New South Wales in Game 2, because they definitely need to improve in their forward stocks realistically. You go to the fullback, Reece Walsh, with the wingers being Josiah Kotopani and Jesse Arthurs, centers of Tony Staggs and Gehamat Shibasaki. The 5'8" is Ezra Mam, with the halfback being Adam Reynolds, who is the captain. You go to the front row forwards of Preston, Ricky, and Payne Haas, and the number 9 is Corey Pakes. And then you go to the back row, Brendan Piakura and Xavier Willison, with the 13 being Patrick Carrigan. You go to the interchange, Ben Hunt, Ben Talty, Va'a Semu, Jack Kasevsky, Grant Anderson, and Thomas Duffy, with the coach being Michael Maguire. Sorry, guys, I got a little distracted there. But look, this Broncos team, they do get some massive ins back, and we're still waiting for Reece Walsh to turn his season around and really start to fire up with some form. Unfortunately, right now, the Broncos have shown exactly what they did in the first half of last season, where they really did struggle. Last year, actually, let's quickly go back and have a look at it last year to compare. So in 2025... they obviously beat the Roosters in the first game, but then they got smacked by the Raiders. They beat the Cowboys, and then they beat the Dolphins, beat the Tigers, but then they went on a bit of a losing streak and really just were struggling, where they got beaten by the Roosters confidently at Suncorp. They got beaten by the Warriors as well, got smashed by the Panthers, got beaten by the Rabbitohs. They lost here to the Dragons 30-26. And they've actually lost the last two seasons in a row at Suncorp Stadium by the exact same margin to the Dragons, 30-26. The exact same score. So if you want to have a little bit of a cheeky dabble, maybe they go the hat trick there and St George get their first win of the season with the exact same score of the last two games that they've played here. And round 13, which is this round last year, they lost 34-6 to Manly before they finally got onto a winning streak, when obviously they played the Titans, because the Titans love to play teams into form. And then that's when they absolutely dominated from round 14 of last season. So this was, at this point of the year, actually, let me quickly have a look. So at round 13 last year, the Broncos, who ended up winning the premiership, just a reminder, were in, you guessed it, 11th position. They were in 11th position, which is exactly where they are right now. So that is a good sign here for Broncos fans to look at and say, well, hey, listen, we were looking rough. We were looking not so great last year. The form of Reece Walsh was really, really disappointing. And it wasn't looking like your year. And you went and won the comp. You know, you went and won the damn world competition. So it is still on for you. It is still on, but you do need to start. And actually, again, round 13, you lost last year. So it wasn't until next week that you started making your push. So it is still on. I know it's been rough and you've had some really, really, look, let's be honest, shit-ass games, but this is what they did last year. Now, you can't expect that you're just going to do the same thing as you did last year, because you can't expect to have those comebacks. But you do have last year to base off to say, hey, listen, look, we're looking shithouse right now, but the penthouse is still available. We've got the shithouse, but the penthouse is still available. And you've got the team here. Reece Walsh, definitely Plenty of opportunity. Good Tony Staggs, obviously Origin player. Shibasaki, Origin player. Jesse Arthurs is actually on the move next year to the Titans. But, you know, Adam Reynolds, he's won multiple premierships now. All these guys have won a premiership. Like, they know how to do it. So that's why it's like, well, look. Sorry, guys, I went to sleep at like 4:30 in the morning because obviously I was up late for the Champions League. So I'm doing my best here. Yeah, look, you look through this team lineup and they've got the opportunity to go and do the job. It's just that I do worry in regards to the forwards. I don't think I've seen a fantastic amount of form out of Xavier Willison this year. Brendan Pucrew comes back in off injury. Payne Haas also comes back in off injury. We know what he can provide and what he's going to do. You know, Preston Ricky is effectively fresh blood here in a lot of ways, and we'll see how much Corey Pace gets out and Paddy Carrigan. He's just going to be a workhorse. So I do still worry a little bit about these forwards, and I really worry about Brisbane forward wides from next year. I know they get Mitchell Barnett, but there is a significant drop-off between Payne Haas and Mitchell Barnett. And I'm not saying that to disrespect Mitchell Barnett, but I think it's just, we all know this is a fact. There is a significant drop-off there that the Broncos are going to have to... They're going to struggle to fill, and they're also losing Adam Reynolds. They're getting Jonah Pezzett, who's been injured for the most part of this year for the Eels. Yeah, I think it's going to be... It's going to be a really big drop-off next year in regards to what they're seeing from the forwards. They just need to find a way to I feel like they have to find a way at some point this year to actually... If they're not going to make the finals, they do need to... If they're not going to make the finals and they don't believe they're going to compete, obviously they want to win as many as they can for the sake of it being their last games. But I do feel like you need to test out some starting prop rotations and other props in this starting role over Payne Haas at some point, because he is going to the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Maybe a bit of a weird thing because, again, Mitchell Barnett will come in, but I just feel like you've got to see what you're going to do without the likes of Payne Haas. And again, if you want to just go based off of the last couple of weeks, it wasn't great. You know, but it wasn't just Payne Haas that was out, but it also just simply wasn't great, and you were losing a lot in those forwards. I just don't know if Mitchell Barnett's going to be able to achieve the same amount of what Payne Haas has been able to achieve. And again, changing a halfbacks is a whole fresh new direction for the club. But that's all to think about next year. Right now, Broncos, you cannot lose this game. Nobody can lose the Dragons. The first team to lose the Dragons is going to be embarrassing. The only team that it wouldn't even necessarily be embarrassing with would be a team like the Titans, who were kind of expecting to lose to the Dragons. Even though they've beaten the Dragons already so far this season, the only team that wouldn't be ultimately just ridiculously embarrassing would be the Titans, because they are in second last. They've only won 2 games, and they usually just lose to everybody. Anybody else, and it's just a disaster. An absolutely a massive disaster. And especially for a Broncos team coming off of a premiership, but again, they've lost the last 2 games in a Robert Suncorp to the Dragons. I don't know. There surely should be no world that Brisbane lose this game with their players back at home. Early Sunday game is really strange. They're not usually great in the early Sunday games. They aren't usually fantastic. But again, the Broncos, you should just be winning this game. And then you go to the Dragons, where their ins are Matthew Fionney and Moses Sully. Their outs are Hayden Buchanan and Christian Tuipulotu. The fullback is Clinton Gutherson, with the wingers being Setu Tu and Matthew Fionney, with the centers being Moses Sully and Valentine Holmes. And you go to the 5'8", which is Daniel Atkinson, and halfback is Kyle Flanagan. Front row forwards are Locko Jr., Pacific Tonga, and Toby Couchman, with the number 9 being Damien Cook, who is the captain. The back row, Dylan Egan and Hamish Stewart, with the 13 being Ryan Couchman. And then the interchange is Blake Laurie, Josh Kerr, Luchan Leilua, Emre Gula, Lycan King Tagia, and Tyrell Sloan, with the coach being Dean Young. There have been some slight games this year where you've seen a bit of positivity about them. You know, obviously that Bulldogs game in round 1, but context, the Bulldogs have been awful so far this season and currently sit down there in the bottom 4 in 14th after that Storm win last night. You know, they did lead the Storm by 20 points to 16 with 20 minutes to go. They did lose 46 to 20, but the point of the matter is they did lead the first 60 minutes there before completely falling off a cliff. Then again, the Storm have been in 3rd last and 2nd last for the most part of the season. Now they're in 5th last, so it's nothing really to write home about. But at the time, you did feel like it was quite positive until that final 20. And then it just kept on getting worse. You know, they lost to the Eels when they could have won that game. They lost to the Titans when they were up in that game. They got flogged by the Cowboys. They made it close against Manly. I think they were down 18-6 at one stage, got it back to 18-18, and then obviously lost 28-18. Lost to the Rabbitohs 30-12 when there were opportunities in that game. There was no opportunities in the game. They got flogged by 60 against the Roosters. You know, they got done over by the Knights, 44-10. And then there was a positive game against the Panthers where they actually kept themselves a lot more in it than people thought they would for a good probably 60 minutes before it fell away with Brian To'o and Luke Garner. Yeah, at halftime it was 12-0, and then it was 18-0 by the 46th minute, but then they score a try and it's 18 points to 6, and you're thinking, okay, well, this is actually looking relatively positive for the Dragons, even though I doubt the Penrith intentions. And today, with them not playing their full strength roster against the Warriors, tells me everything I need to know about their intentions. But then they scored 2 tries in Brian To'o and Luke Garner and pulled it away. But again, most people expect them to lose that game by 50, and they only lost that game by 22. And only 22 is crazy, but it is only 22 considering. And then they went and played the Warriors last week and lost 30-12. Warriors weren't spectacular, but they just simply were the better team. So there has been some very, very slight positives, but you just can't go on with expecting wins. We've got some Dragons fans in the channel, and I want to see a win for you. I really don't care if it's against the Broncos or even if it's against the Titans. Obviously, I don't want to see my team lose. But I do want to see Dragons fans get their time to celebrate at least once this season. And I will keep saying, I believe that they will win a game this year. There will be a win. I don't know when it is. This is a difficult stretch. This is actually probably, you could make an argument this is actually their best stretch at the moment of potential games to win, because the Broncos are no sure things by any stretch of the imagination. And again, the Dragons have beaten them the last 2 times at Suncorp. They play the Sharks next week, who is a local rivalry game. The Sharks are definitely no guarantee. And the last time the Dragons won in round 23 of last year was against Cronulla. Then they got the bye. Then they play the Knights. I would not say the Knights are guaranteed, but they did smack them 44-10. And then they play the Raiders, who are not necessarily a guarantee either. And then they play the Tigers, who, again, I'm going to be favouring of these teams they're playing. But Tigers are no guarantees, and then they shouldn't be beating the Warriors. And then they've got a very winnable matchup against the Titans in round 21. Before they go on another pretty rough stretch, to be fair. So, yeah, look, it's tough times. I feel like what I'll say in regards to the Dragons getting a win this year, if you don't win by round 21 and then you play the Titans at home and you still find a way to lose that, I think that's when you start to say, okay, they're not going to win a game. Because if you can't beat the Titans, you just won't be. You surely wouldn't be winning games. So what I'm saying is, if you get all the way to round 21, which would be basically a full year since your last win, and you still don't beat the Titans at home at Cogra, well, damn, you're not really looking forward to a win at all. You know what your best bet is, though? The Eels having nothing to play for in round 27, and then you being at home in Wollongong to finish off the season. So you're just going to... If that worst-case scenario panned out, well, then, yeah, you'd be looking at that Eels game saying, well, Eels got nothing to play for. We've got something to play for, and that's to avoid not to avoid the spoon necessarily, but to avoid going a winless season, which would put you down as one of the worst teams of all time. Actually, it would put you down as the worst team of all time. And you don't want to be competing with the Newcastle Knights and the Tigers of recent years. So, yeah, I think that it really comes down to, if you get to round 22 without a win still, damn, that'll be something. And I think that sounds obvious, but you know what I'm trying to say there. The Titans are a very winnable outfit for the Dragons, despite losing to them at Seabass. But anyway, I'm going to predict the Broncos here. And I you know what? I'm actually going to predict the Broncos by 14. So I'm still going 13 plus. I think the Broncos should win this and win this confidently, but I do think the Dragons are desperate, and they're going to be a lot more surely tricky. Maybe the longer the season goes on, it'll be less tricky. But this part of the season, they know they've still got a long way to go. They know they need at least 2 wins right now to get on par with the Titans, who are in second last. The Titans are 2 wins away from the next spot. They must win, because they must get close. Because if they keep losing and the Titans win 1 more game, well, 3 wins away, and then expecting that team to not win themselves, it's just something that you can't really have on your mind, and you can't really have on your thought process. So right now, you should be effectively the biggest Titans haters, but also it doesn't really matter if your team can't win, because you still need to catch up to that too. You still need to catch up to the 2. So if it's like 3 wins and separating by the fact that, and then you win in round 21, it won't even really matter. I can't believe we're talking about round 21 right now. I can't believe we're talking all the way around round 21, but, it is what it is there, man. So, again, taking Broncos 13 plus, but I do feel like the Dragons will at least show some resolve and maybe only lose it by about 14, 16 points. That's just depressing to talk about there. But let's get into the ladder, where the Dragons, they're in 17th position on 2 points because they're bye, haven't won a game yet. They're minus 225, the worst points differential by literally 75. If they are to lose this game, they are in last position. If they are to win this game, They are also in last position. However, they would only be 1 win away from the Titans, but you are essentially right now 3 wins away from them because your points differential is minus 225 to them minus 88. So currently separating you is about 130 odd points. You need the Titans to lose by enough and Dragons to win by enough to accumulate that, and it's looking quite unlikely right now. So right now you would be essentially 3 wins behind the Titans, and that's why if they go and win and you lose, like say for example they go and beat the Broncos next week, and then the Dragons, they lose this week and next week, well, then you'd be essentially 4 wins behind them, and that's why I would be saying it's probably done and dusted by that point if you get to that area. But, anything can happen in rugby league. We can see how it pans out. But either way, Dragons, you must win. Win or lose, you are in last position for the time being, though. Broncos, not any changes at all, really. Really, there might be one drop-off, but you're not going to be jumping anywhere. So if you win this game, you would go to 14 points. You'd finish in 11th because the Tigers, the Cowboys, the Sharks, the Dolphins, the Rabbitohs, and Manly are all on 16 points. They would be 2 points above you. If you lose this game, there is a significant gap opening up between the top 10 and everybody else. So you need to win this game to keep yourself up there in the hunt because there's a lot of teams on 16 points right now. And the Roosters are on 18 points. They're on scam, as you can see. They are massive scammers. Massive scammers. Oh my gosh, massive scammers. You are eastern buddy suburbs. Gee whiz. But if the Broncos win this game, they'll finish in 11th position. And their points differential is minus 57, so they do really want to look to enhancing that points differential. But if they lose this game, well, the Raiders play in the game after this against the Cowboys. Raiders finding a little bit of form. Nothing too spectacular, but the Raiders, if they win their game, well, it's minus 57 for the Broncos, minus 86 for the Raiders. So that would have to be a 30-point swing between the two. So Broncos would need to lose by, say, 10 or 6. Well, let's go with 10. They go to minus 67, and then you'd have to win by 20 to go to minus 66. The Raiders would have to win by 20 to go to minus 66, and then that would put the Raiders into 11th. But either way, win or lose here, you'd probably still be expecting the Broncos to be in 11th position, but again, their only chance of moving this round would be to lose and then to go below the Raiders into 12th position because nobody below them plays again. Bulldogs and Eels, though, do play each other next week, so it'll get a little bit testy for you if you do lose this, because then one of those two teams will be within range of jumping over the top, even though their points differential is not great, but the Bulldogs aren't too far away from you on the minus 99. Like, it's still a good 40, but it's not too far away from you, and we all know how the Eels can play, but we all know how the Bulldogs can play. But anyway, long story short, I'm taking the Broncos here. I think everybody's taking the Broncos. It'd be a miracle if the Dragons get it. I'd actually like to see it for Dragons fans, to be completely honest with you. I would love to see it for you. I don't necessarily believe that it's going to happen. I don't believe it will happen today, but there's always a chance. And where there's a will, there's a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. So hopefully they can get the job done here. But all right, guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe for new around here, and hopefully get a cracker game. But gee whiz. Michael says, good to see Man City got the last laugh. Let it all work out. Let it all work out. Beautiful. I love that it was Gabrielle who missed the penalty. I love it. Get it into my veins, bro. Out of all players to miss the penalty, it's Gabrielle. Incredible, bro. Incredible. I know it says this has to be the W here, surely. Well, why do you say surely? Sure, like, okay, you're a Dragons fan. You say that, but the Broncos, they are getting Payne Haas back. They are getting Tony Staggs back into their team after a couple of weeks suspension. He's coming off the Origin game, but, he's going to be looking to fire up here today. And I've actually captained him as Supercoach because I just think he's going to have a cracker performance. But we'll see. Dragons have to be desperate. You have to go into this just desperate because it's not going to be easy. And I know you've won your last 2 games 30-26 at Suncorp, but it's just not going to be easy at all because the Broncos, they lose this. That top 8 is really starting to separate. Chauncey passes the Broncos almost full strength. Almost full strength, yeah. And he says, come on, Dragons, let's get this win. Alex says, come on, Broncos, let's smash them. Prediction for this game. I'm going Broncos by 14. Chauncey says, whoever Dragons beat must switch places with them on the ladder. Wouldn't come on Dragons today. Silencer says, Lions, Titans, top of the table. This is true, Silencer. This is true. I just do it, when we talk about this and we say Titans second last and all that, that's just like a hypothetical. We're just a hypothetical being over here. We're a spiritual hypothetical being where we talk about the absolute, amazement of seeing a team of the Titans stature in second last, which you would never see because obviously they're up here. It really is just one of those things where it would just be so spectacular to see the Titans fail for once, because they never do. So that's why we just put them into second last in conversations and give you like a thought process of, oh, well, listen, because I feel for the Panthers. Panthers have struggled for all their history, and they're in second last. That's why, it is what it is, mate. I just try to make... I'm a community man. I'm trying to think of the Panthers here, and I'm just trying to give you guys a chance against the Titans, which is never possible. Dusty Parsons, whoever... that's right, I read that comment. William says, hello, young man. Dragons might do a storm. What does Dragons might do a storm mean? Oh, you're saying because the Dragons will storm over the Roosters is a surprise, but it's not an insane surprise. Dragons over the Broncos... They're a lot closer on the table than those two guys were. There was third last. It was third last versus third, so sure. But on what basis are you going with Dragons might do that? But okay, sure. But you would also back in the Storm way more than you'd back in the Dragons with the Storm versus Roosters and the Dragons versus Broncos. So I get what you're saying. I don't get what you're saying, but I get what you're saying. Peter says Dragons' first win will be against the Bears. You're a knob. Oh, you're a knob. It's funny, though. You're a funny knob, but that is definitely a knob-like comment. Brenton says, I'm giving the Dragons a chance today. They've been slightly improving. The only thing is that Haas is back, and he might be the difference in today's game. Yeah, and Tony Staggs is back as well, because he's been out for a couple of weeks due to suspension because of that Roosters game when he elbowed the player in the back of the head. Nate says, come on, Saints, fire up, Nate. Fire up. Plenty of 2 pointers on offer today. Peter S. says, Dragons fans should be proud of the fact they are more loyal than Bulldogs fans. Yeah. Look, I would actually slightly agree with that. Like Dragons, no, I wouldn't necessarily. I would I listen to it. I do. I listen to it. However, the Dragons, I believe, have one of the lowest memberships over the last few years by a pretty long way, and they do have a long history. So you would expect that if they were loyal, they would have a lot more memberships. But they do have some really loyal and passionate fans. Don't get me wrong. And this goes for every single club. For example, the Titans have no fans, but yet they still have people like me who are extremely passionate and loyal to the club, and they still have, I know many Titans fans who are genuinely passionate and genuinely loyal to this club, but you just don't see it on game day because you're looking for, the amount rather than the individual, which is obvious. But I would say that Dragons memberships and crowd sizes are not spectacular. But with that being said, there definitely are still some extremely passionate Dragons fans for sure. But the shot at the Bulldogs is also fair because they've dropped off considerably in regards to people attending their games. And I remember that we actually had some arguments on here. Not even arguments, just like... conversations about how the Bulldogs fans turned up out of nowhere. Like, there are a lot of Bulldogs fans, don't get me wrong, but there hasn't been anywhere near as much as we've seen the last couple of years, and now we're not seeing that again. And Westmate, when he comes here, Dazmate, but his name is Westmate this week after the loss of the Tigers yesterday, he will agree with that. And Dogs fans, for the most part, who have been there the whole time, Emilio will definitely agree with it. Emilio brings it up all the time as well. And people always have this thought process like, I'm not going to watch the team if they're not going to put in. Well, that is showing you're not loyal. Like, at the end of the day, like, I watched the Titans regardless, win, lose, or draw, and I went to every single game. I flew all the way to New Zealand when we were 0-7, and it's not, everyone's not going to be like me and not like Emilio and not like these people, but at least watch your games. A lot of people don't even watch them on TV because they're not going well. You're just like, well, how will it ever mean anything to you? How will it ever be like a special moment for you when the Dogs win if you weren't here during times like this where they're struggling when they had the expectations? And when they won the Wooden Spoon in 2021, when they nearly won the Wooden Spoon in 2020, yeah, you can be there for 2014, 2012 grand finals, but if you're not there now, going through the pain of it all, well, that's not going to mean anything when you actually get to that grand final. Just another human says, hi, I'll get around you. Addy says, I just want to see effort. I think everyone does. Nate says, you're a clown, Peter. It is a funny comment, though. You got to admit. It's a knob comment, but it is a funny comment. I've seen comments like this directed at Titans before. I feel it. I just want to see effort. Our senior players need to aim up and show their experience. The young forwards have been very impressive considering how inexperienced they are. Yeah, Toby Couchman, Ryan Couchman, Hamish Stewart, and... Hamish Stewart and who's the other one? Dylan Egan. You know, the forwards do show a little bit. Locko Junior Pacific Tonga is still very, very fresh. But no, I would say the young guys at the Dragons right now are the ones that you're looking at and saying, well, you just need to see more of them. Unfortunately, Cade Reid got injured. Otherwise, he would have been the halfback. They've been forced to pull Carl Flanagan back into it. Now, next year, obviously, Dragons fans are not telling you anything you don't know. You get Drinkwater, you get Phil Sami. Apparently, you get Luke Metcalf. Apparently, you're getting Connor Watson for a year loan before he goes to Papua New Guinea. Don't know how much that really helps you. Just like I criticised Parramatta for signing Jonah Pezzett when I'm just like, well, surely you just would have tried to go with a guy, you would have given a full year to a guy like Joash Papali, who you believe is your 5'8" going forward kind of deal, rather than bringing in a guy for essentially no reason. Parramatta were never winning the comp this year, and ignore the injury to Pezzett. Like, Parramatta were never winning the comp this year. So for mine, it just made no sense that they put a loan of Jonah Pezzett for a year before he went to the Broncos. And the same thing goes with the Dragons with Connor Watson. It's like, I would prefer to just straight at see Jacob Little, but okay, sure, you must be thinking about going, because Damien Cook's leaving. So you must be thinking of that just being a year-long depth replacement there, backup replacement, because you better not be starting Connor Watson. If you start Connor Watson over Jacob Little, that would just make no sense to me. That would just make no sense. Jacob Little is the guy that you're going forward to the future. If you started Connor Watson, it'd just be like, well, a massive screw you to Jacob Little in a lot of ways, who I believe right now is already better than Damien Cook, in my opinion. Not in the peak of his career, but like at the point of their careers now. I love what Jacob Little brings comparatively. So, yeah, I don't really understand it, but I guess it is just that it gives them time to think about their next hooker option as a depth player. Marcel Musa says, Little being out ruins a little bit of delusional hope I had winning. Yeah, there you go, yeah. Yeah, agree. Ben says, I appreciate the intention is the new motto for the Dragons now. Albert says, Dragons got a whipping in the rain last week. What was that result again last week? A whipping in the rain last week. Oh, that's right, against the Warriors. I wouldn't even say that was a whipping though, mate. Like 30-12. Okay, sure, they lost by 18, but I wouldn't say that's a whipping. Especially in today's day and age, like a whipping is like 30 to 40 points. That was only 18 points. I don't think the Warriors convincing, like the Warriors were clearly the better team. But also they weren't spectacular. I wouldn't say that was a whipping by any means. Trey says, what do you think of Shibasaki scored today, mate? No, I don't mind it. Honestly, you could pick anybody. I'm going to go with Katoni Staggs for the Broncos. I think that he should be up for it. Honestly, you could throw a blindfolded dart to any of these Broncos backline players, and they probably should score with how the Dragons are playing. So I'm going to go Katoni Staggs, but I don't mind Shibasaki. In the forwards, I may even lock down a Payne Haas, even back from injury. I might do it. I'm excited to see him back in action. He's such a good player, dude. He's just so great to watch. So I'll go Payne Haas, but I'll go with Tony Staggs. And then for the backline for the Dragons, I'll go... Oh, Val doesn't score much. And he's had an awful year. I'm going to back in Val completely against form and completely against the grain. I just look at his name and I'm probably the most confident of the lot, but I shouldn't be because he's been so poor this year. But I'll take Val Holmes in the back line there for the Dragons. And then for the forwards, you could be looking at a Hamish Stewart. You could be looking at even a guy like a Toby Couchman. I'm going to go Hamish Stewart here. I have been getting some great back rower selections this week in regards to try scorers. So I guess I'll stick with that and I'll go with Hamish Stewart. I could have even gone with Brendan Piakura there, but I'm going to go with Payne Haas coming back to run amok here against the Dragons. So yeah, I'll go Staggs, Haas, Holmes, and Hamish Stewart. That's who I'll go for the try scorers. But to answer your question specifically, yeah, look, I think that Shibasaki is a great chance to score. Howard says, Walsh might need the headgear again tonight. Surferman says, g'day, mate. Thanks for calling the game and talking 40. GG, everyone. We are live for every single game here, man. We'll be live for the Cowboys Raiders right after this in Geo Stadium in Canberra. And then we've also got the Panthers Warriors later on today, where the Panthers are sad and not playing their main stars. Power Trust says, the Broncos coach says the boys are up. A big game prediction. Yeah, well, what do you expect the Broncos coach to say? Well, what is Michael Maguire ever going to say otherwise? Of course he's going to say the Broncos are up. Of course he's going to say the Broncos are going to win this game. What else is he going to say, bro? V6 is, in your opinion, the Bulldogs didn't sign Galvin and kept the same team in the field for the rest of the season last year. Do you think they could have won the premiership? Honestly, no. But it would have been... Like, again, I said that Galvin being signed is fine, but putting him in halfway through last season was ridiculous. And I understand that was a part of the time constraints and I don't think the Bulldogs long-term would have continued to do what they were doing at the beginning part of last season at all. However, I think that and I say this all the time, when you are at the top of the table, you want to go as unknown as possible. For example, like the Raiders last year, no one was talking about them. You want to go as unknown as possible. Now, yes, the Raiders lost back-to-back sets, straight sets in the finals, but you want to fly under the radar as much as you possibly damn well can. Let everybody else get the conversation. But the Bulldogs, they decided to make the conversation about them for all the wrong reasons. So to answer your question, I don't think they would have gone to win the competition last year, but they would have had a much better opportunity at it than what they did by just completely tanking their team halfway through the season when they were in first position, making the media all talk about them, and just completely having a shit show from that point onwards. So, no, but a better opportunity than what obviously happened after that. But the game will kick off here, guys. The Broncos kick it to the Dragons, and that'll be at the in goal where Kyle Flanagan gets it off to Loco Junior Pacific Tonga, brings out of the 10 on first tackle. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new around here. Come on, let's hopefully get a closer game than everyone's imagining here. Hopefully, let me just refresh this live score here. Let me refresh the live score so that you can see it pumping along. There we go. All right, it's all done. Second tackle now for the... oh, wait, what's happened here? Did I miss something? No, they haven't. Oh, it's a head clash here. God bless. God bless Jesse Arthurs, and I think that's Hamish Stewart as well. Third tackle now for the Dragons. They'll be at the 25. Ben says Dragons have never done little justice, I feel, for him. Yeah, I would actually relatively agree with that. But then again, I also never used to believe in Jacob Little. I thought that he was quite underwhelming for a large part of what I've seen from him until maybe the last year or two. Where he's maybe specifically last year, he really opened up as a player, and maybe even the year beforehand, I can't remember. But I remember I never used to be a massive fan, but he really turned it around on me and has been doing some really good stuff. And that is a penalty to the Broncos. As soon as they get the ball, the first touch of the ball, and that's going to be an offside against the Dragons. Teach Miles says, have a strong feeling this one's going to be a meat pie fest today. Absolutely potential. But Adam Reynolds is going to kick this ball away from the 30, and we'll get inside the attacking half, and the Broncos are already going to go on the attack. Already on the attack. Yeah, Mo, it's good, isn't it? See how so much clearer blades. Yeah, we had this a couple of weeks. How many weeks have we had this now? I think maybe last week was our first week with this on the Thursday or the Friday game of the 5-game slate. But no, it's it's much better, mate. Much better, and I'm not having to worry about it muting and all that kind of jazz. But Payne Haas is going to bring this ball to the 35 on second tackle. Oh no, Dragons, don't give up a try this quickly. Don't do it. Adam Reynolds, he's going to go to the right, off to Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh to Tony Staggs. Staggs away here, Staggs away here, Staggs away here, Staggs away here, taking it out to the 15 on third tackle. Good run. Alphonsus Dragons should win this game. Okay, man. They haven't won a game so far this season, and yet we're saying they should win a game. Ezra Mam off to Jack Gasiewski. No, Brendan Pikura. Sorry, his hair is blonde. What are we doing? Ezra Mam, left-hand side to Shibasaki, and Shibasaki's going to be at the 12. My brain got confused there because of the hair colour of Brendan Pikura. But the Broncos now 12 metres away, 38-metre gain there. Reece Walsh kicks this ball through for himself, bounces away. Dragons ball, and it's going to be a penalty against the Dragons for, I think, an offside. It is an offside. That is a penalty to the Broncos. So they're going to get a fresh set here. Surely you don't take the 2. Nath, you'd love it. You'd love it, Nath. Here we are. You'd love it, but they're not going to do it. So penalty Broncos, 10 metres out. Corey Pakes taps it, gives it up to Adam Reynolds. He'll get it across to Paddy Carrigan. Carrigan off to Preston Ricky. And they'll be 10 metres away. They roll it back to Corey Pakes. I think Jordan Ricky's out for the season. No, he's out for a while, isn't he? Ezra Man, this is way too easy, isn't it? Oh, it's way too easy for Moses Suli. That's who it is. He stayed in the field of play. That is incredible. Oh. Well, the touchy was saying he was in the field of play, and then he's changed his call. Well, that's a great tackle from Moses Suli regardless, but Ezra Man, I swear he stayed in here. No, yeah, he did. Oh, no. He must have put the knee down very, very late there. It's a great tackle from Moses Suli regardless. Yeah, he is slightly touching it. Oh, dude, it was very close. It was very close. And the touchy originally wasn't going to call it, but he changed his mind. Moses, let's go Saints. A prayer for the hopeless. I feel you. Second tackle here for the Dragons at 20. I will say, great defense there from Suli. Worrying signs for the Dragons that the Broncos have really worrying signs that they just allowed the Broncos to just easily get up the field just then. But again, they stopped them on the line, which is a positive. Nate says, Little's my favourite Dragon of the past decade. Bless him. Of the past decade? Surely you'd have like a Jason Nightingale or something like that. Oh, Damien Cook with a nice run. He'll get this ball to the 45. You sure it's not Ben Hunt? I know Annie's favourite player of the past decade for the Dragons is Ben Hunt. So they'll get this ball down here to the 10, who you are playing here today too. Reece Walsh. He's just on the bench. Reece Walsh is going to bring it out to the 20 on first tackle. Surely it's going to be like a Jason Nightingale. Yeah, Gareth Widdop's a good shout too. Aspects. He was solid for you guys. And again, you made the finals in 2019 and actually knocked the Broncos out at Suncorp Stadium too, mind you. Third tackle here. You actually have a pretty good record in recent years at Suncorp then. 2 years in a row. 2019, I don't know in between, but 2 years in a row plus 2019. Oh, there's a one-on strip there. Dragons with the ball at the 40. Hello. Knock, knock. Who's there? It's St George on the line here. Now we're talking. Come on now. Dragons 30 minutes away from the line. Second tackle. Aspect says he loves Zach Lomax. He is a knob, that guy. Second tackle. But as if I'm going to be able to read the name you actually put. As if I'm going to be able to read that, brother. So they right-hand side, they give it to Loco Junior Pacific Tonga, and he's going to be 15 metres away from the line for tackle. And they'll roll it out to Kyle Flanagan. Flanagan then to Atkinson. Atkinson gets rushed up by Ezra Mam, and it's going to be fair. No, he gets the offload away on fourth tackle to Toby Couchman. And Couchman's going to run this ball to the 8 on fifth tackle. Dragons have been having a knack for scoring first. Whether the try gets agreed to or not by the bunker is another question. But the bunker is absolutely hopeless. Hey, by the way, good luck, Cowboys and Raiders fans. Guess who's on the referee? Oh, Dragons! Offloads it! There's Val Holmes, and there's my try score prediction right away. Val Holmes will score for the Dragons. They lead 4-0 here with a kick to come. Hello. Dude, I've been flying with my try score predictions this week. I really have been absolutely flying with my try score predictions. I went completely against the form, completely against the grain, and I picked Val Holmes for a try scorer, and he does it. So 4-0 with the kick to come. I've been flying, mate. I've been flying. Absolutely flying. But Val Holmes will score. I reckon Hamish Stewart could have scored this himself, really. I know he was falling over, but I reckon he could have pulled himself over the line there himself, but he gets the ball offload to Val Holmes, and it's a touchdown, baby. Oh, boy. What about... No, Jack DeBellin is how I'm going to read that. What about Jack DeBellin? Well, DeBellin was a very good player for the Dragons, and then unfortunately... I've got to be careful about this. Unfortunately, and I'm not encouraging anybody to bring up what obviously the elephant in the room is, but unfortunately the elephant in the room really derailed a lot of his career because he was very good prior to that. I will call it the elephant in the room. I will say before that situation, he was an unbelievable player for the Dragons, was like New South Wales, all that sort of stuff. He was looking really good. And then that really derailed a lot of what DeBellin was providing. So again, not an encouragement to talk about it here in the chat. I've really enjoyed watching Jack DeBellin throughout his career. He's not doing anything of the Eels, but I've still enjoyed watching Jack DeBellin throughout his career on the field. So 6-0 here to the Dragons, 8 minutes into the game. Nate says Paul Boyd got screwed over. Yeah, we're not going to talk about the situation, but I just have to use that as a reference point for where I believe his career took a really nasty turn, unfortunately. And I feel like most people can agree with that if they've been watching Dragons over the years and Jack DeBellin. Ben says Dufty too. Dragons fans would miss his passing attack. Dragons fans do not miss Dufty, but he's been killing it for the Rabbitohs this year. Jason Smith was a great Dragons player. I feel like in my life since 1994 when I was born, I would say my favourite Dragons player, and I was actually born in Cogra, but I only lived there for like 2 weeks. Well, we didn't even live in Cogra, it was the Nulla, but I was there for 2 weeks as a baby before we went up to Brisbane for the next 12, 13 years before the Gold Coast. But since growing up, I would say my favourite player for the Dragons would probably be Mark Gasnier or Jason Nightingale. I loved what Jason Nightingale could do. He was actually, I think he was the first NRL player I ever interviewed here on the channel too, actually, when I went down to Cogra for a game, I think Dragons Broncos in round 1, like maybe 2016 or 2017 or something like that. So Adam Reynolds has got a report here. Dragons 4 tackle at 48, but I love those two guys. The Dragons will beat the 40 on 5th tackle. Go back to New York, Goose. What are you talking about, Edson? Go back to New York? Oh, Val Holmes, okay. Knock on Broncos. Dragons, here's a chance. Atkinson, Flanagan. Oh my gosh, the Dragons are all over. Oh, Broncos, you're not going to do it, are you? Val Holmes, left-hand side. He'll get the offload away to Guthrie. That's a forward pass. That's a forward pass. That's a forward pass. There's the forward pass call. If you had have allowed that call, I would have maybe projectile vomited directly at the screen. It is a forward pass call, and the Broncos will get the ball to 15. Come on, the Dragons. Fire up, you cats. Fire up. Teach Masters, no, he's cool. Just eyes too close together. Oh my gosh, stop it, man. Aspects, I do miss 2018 Dufty. Katrina says, please give me a shout out. My name is Charlie. But your name's Katrina. What are you talking about? Your name's Charlie. Your name's Katrina. And he says, win it for me. He was great for us. Current play would be Ryan Couchman, bloke is machine and bleeds red, white. Oh, wow. That's actually going to be Dragons ball here. So it wasn't a forward pass. I don't know what they've called. Have they called offside then, maybe? Well, no, they couldn't have because it would have been a penalty. What did they call there for the Dragons had the ball back? So it's first tackle of the Dragons, 3 meters out here from the line. They might score here. Damien, held up over the line. Broncos, but wow. St George, desperate times. And right now they're up 6-0. 10 minutes gone in the first half. 30 minutes to go over the first half. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. 2 more games today. Cowboys, Raiders, and also Panthers, Warriors. But the Panthers are sad sacks. Third tackle now at the 3. They are sad because they're not playing a full-strength roster. The only team resting players really this week. They go to in the most important game of the week. Oh, Daniel Atkinson, hello. Now we're talking. 10-0 with a kick to go to the Dragons. 10-0 to the Dragons. Daniel Atkinson has scored. Broncos. No, you're not, are ya? You're not, are you? No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not, Brisbane. Josiah Katapani with that knock on. And, did they maybe come back here because it was still in the same play? They definitely played the advantage. And then, they've come back. So they did call the forward pass, but they came back for the knock on from Katapani, which is quite rough. Like they definitely took the advantage, but also I don't give a shit. Like this team is 0-11 right now out of 12 games. Like I know Broncos fans would be probably spewing at that. With that being said, try confirmed here. Daniel Atkinson scores, and the Dragons are having a party right now at Suncorp Stadium. Troy says Warriors are also not putting on Catewell and Barrett. Surfman says, what's the odds for Dragons when 1-12? $1 now. Or maybe 10-1 because they win 13 plus. I don't know what it would have been. I don't know what the odds would have been. It would have been juicy, though. It would have been. Mark Coyne is the best Dragon centre. TRY Tri-Time Dragons. Screw me, only the Broncos could do this. Well, the Dragons, they're currently doing it 12-0 to St George at Suncorp Stadium. I tipped them for the memes. I told you Dragons 13. Stop it, Brenton. Told you Dragons 13 plus. I'm not getting rage baited into the told ya. I'm not getting rage baited into it. I can't be in a better mood after last night's Champions League final. Sakopou says, I'm a bit older. Langlands is my call. Graham Langlands. What a man. Ben says, did the Bronx forget to drink their toilet water today? They have forgot to drink their toilet water so far this season. So the Dragons will receive this ball here at the 3, and Kyle Flanagan gives it across to Loco Jr. Pacific Tonga, and he'll be at the 15. I'm telling you, the meltdown on socials if the Broncos would lose this would be just insane. It would be insane. Dragons now second tackle to the 25 on their own side of the field. Nate's 13 plus, you could buy a house, mate. Yeah, if you had to put it on 13 plus Dragons at the start of this game, before this game started, you probably could have rivaled Elon Musk for Tesla. You could have tried to buy Tesla off of him, or SpaceX. 4 tackle now to 45, and that's just off a $2 bet. Trent says Dragons 17th and beating the Broncos and Suncorp. Yeah, but they've beaten the Broncos the last 2 times in a row at Suncorp 30-26 over the last 2 years. Guys, there's still 68 minutes to go here, so don't get too crazy excited. However, it's a great start. It's a fantastic start, and a 58-metre gain here off that next set from the Dragons, and no error is beautiful. Reece Walsh will get that ball, and he'll grab this at the 20 on first tackle. Tom says it was $6 something. Oh, boy. And he says, Nath, where the hell has this been? What have they done with our team? I don't know who these fraudsters are. This is a fraud Dragons team. This is an absolute fraud Dragons team. This is not what we see every single week. I need to check their supplements program. They are in the same area of the Shire, so I think we should check their supplements program right now. 4 tackler at the 30. UK says, I'll be surprised if Reece Walsh doesn't score today. Well, right now they haven't scored in the first 13. The Dragons have scored twice, so the Broncos, they're struggling. Reece hasn't been great since coming back from injury. He hasn't been great so far this season. Michael with the do-do-do. Appreciate the $3 donation, Michael. Get around it. Aspect says, players seem tired for the safety of them. I reckon they call full time. Great call. Great call. Someone says, no, let's get carried away. Red V Army, where you're at. They're here. They are here. The Red V loyal, they are here. And Sully nearly gets through. He'll be at the 50 on third tackle. Have Broncos arrived at the ground yet? They are still travelling. No, they are still travelling from Tajikistan. Fourth tackle now at the 42. Daniel says, the best player ever played for the Dragons, the immortal Anthony Mundine. Australians have a real love-hate relationship with Anthony Mundine. Fit tackle here with the Dragons. His NRL days weren't too bad. Like, he was great, but his NRL days, definitely not the best player of all time there, but still a very good player. His NRL days were great, but very polarising outside of his NRL days. Reece Walsh with a great grab there, and he'll bring this ball to the 15 on first tackle. Home the NRL, do the Dragons go on scam alert after today? What are you talking about? Edson says, I'd be surprised if Broncos even scored today. That's a Broncos fan saying that too. Ezra Mann gives it off to Josiah Katapani, and Katapani will bring it out of the 25 now on third tackle. I still feel like the Broncos just win, but it's not looking great for them right now, but I just get that feeling. But that is just because of what we've seen from the Dragons all so far this season. Because the first 60 minutes, they'll be brilliant. Well, not brilliant, but the first 60 minutes, they're great. But then after the... Oh, Payne Haas has knocked the ball on here. Dragons ball to 50. Dragons usually compete for 60 and then fall off the last 20, so I will watch that. But if they can get a decent enough gap right now, maybe they don't have to worry about that. But they did give up 30 points in 20 minutes to the Storm back in round 2 in the last 20. Second tackle now for the Dragons. They're going to be at the 30. Completion 7 for 7 for the Dragons. 3 from 6 for the Broncos. So completion rate 100% St George, 50% for the Brisbane Broncos. Third tackle here at the 20. Damien Cook to Kyle Flanagan. Flanagan now at the 15. Gives it to Couchman. Couchman back to Flanagan. Flanagan gets it across here to Loco Jr. And he will be at the 10 on 4 tackle. If they score now... Oh, he's lost the ball. Oh, he's lost the ball there. So it's going to be Broncos ball to 10. I don't think it's worth the challenge here. And they won't challenge it. Probably a good call. Probably a good call. That's a bad knock on there, though. You know, you just need to keep putting this pressure on right now. And that knock-on really kills that. And Michael says, who's the bloke that says Ezra's the best defensive half? So he was taking the piss, and he said this at the time. But with that being said, yeah, good shout out. And Daniel says, winning in Europe isn't for everyone. Arsenal just saying, like, let it all work out. Let it all work out. Beautiful day. I've had 3 hours of sleep, or 4 hours of sleep here because of that game last night. So I'm going on fumes, but I'm going on beautiful fumes, mate. Absolutely stunning fumes. Stunning fumes, and especially with it being Gabrielle who missed the penalty. Third tackler at the 30. Perfect player to crush their dreams. Payne Haas now get this ball to the 40, and I love how Erling posted a photo immediately after the missed penalty, just smiling. Out of the left-hand side, Ezra Man, good run here to the 50, and he'll be at the 44 on fit tackle. Dana says the man was actually a very competent boxer too, wasn't he? Yeah, Anthony Mundine's one of the best boxers in Australian boxing history. One of them. I know people might debate this, but he was one of them. I would say that he probably is the most well-known Australian boxer in history. Would someone disagree with that? I would say Anthony Mundine would be the most well-known. Obviously, you've got Kostas Zhu, and now you've got Timmy Zhu. But Tim Zhu has fallen away a little bit. But Kostas Zhu was there. Ken Bosa's had a chance at one stage, but he fell away, unfortunately. But I'd say it would be Anthony Mundine as the most famous. Jeff Horn had his moment too, beating Pacquiao, and actually beat Mundine too. I believe. I think I was there. Was that the boxing fight that I went to at Suncorp? And that'll be knocked back here from the Dragons, and the Broncos will get this ball and they'll get away as well. Corey Page to the 33. He's lost the ball. Oh my gosh, Brisbane. Oh my gosh, Brisbane. Dragons ball to 33. They are looking shocking. Danny Green, another one. Scotty James, yeah. Well, Danny Green and Anthony Mundine had the rivalry. That was the rivalry between the two. Oh, they're going to challenge this here, Brisbane. Corey Pakes is challenging this. Here, well, no was a shout. No was a shout. Oh, well known as a shout, yeah. I would say that the best boxer in Australian history would be Costa Zoo, but the most well known would probably be Mundine. Isn't Danny Green that basketball player? Danny Green is also a basketball player, but not the same Danny Green. And the drag, so they're going to say, did the Dragons knock this ball on here? Do they? Oh, did it touch? Does it touch the Dragons player Setu 2 into the Dragons player, knocking it backwards as forward? Oh. Yeah, I think Setu 2 might touch this into Flanagan. I think it... Oh, I don't know if you'll be able to overturn this. Might be inconclusive. Oh, wow, they haven't even looked at Setu 2 touching that. So this is just going to be play on, and then it's going to be completely fine, because he's going to lose this ball. And then does Gutho strip this out? I think Gutho might... Yeah, he stripped that out. Yeah, Gutho's entitled to strip it, but this should be Broncos' ball, because Gutho stripped this ball out one-on-one, which is fine, but then Corey Pags will get it. He's locked on the ball, and then he'll rip it out. Yep. Strips into one-on-one tackles. It'll be Broncos' ball. Yep. Correct call. Successful challenge. It's not a penalty or anything because it was one-on-one strip, but he does strip the ball, yeah. What about Adam, the kickboxing dude? Adam? The kickboxing dude? I'm not sure. Daniel says that heavyweight you had recently is a legend in his own mind. Brown, is that you talking about Lucas Brown? Is that who you're saying? The Brisbane Roosters. Blake, at least the Roosters are in third. Broncos are in 11th, and they are really stinking it up right now. But there is still 62.5 minutes, and it is only 12 points the difference. But where were you? Round 13, AK can't pass, can't catch round. That is, yeah, it's a very ha-ha round. It's a very ha-ha team round for sure. Really glad that I haven't been able to watch the Titans this week. Oh, it's been spectacular. It really has been amazing that I've been able to enjoy this week without having to crash out, because you guys know I love a good crash out with the Titans. I'm really, really grateful that I can sit here and just enjoy the week without having to watch my ha-ha team play. So the Broncos will... That's an awful kick, and Gutho catches it in the in goal. Brisbane, this is dreadful right now. This is dreadful footy. I know you're not good in first halves, but this is dreadful stuff. Oh, Volk. But Volk's not a boxer, though. Volk is UFC. If we're talking UFC, well, then I would say Volk is our most successful of all time. Yeah, unless somebody could tell me I'm wrong. But UFC is different to boxing. And I would still say Mundine long-term would have the recognition over Volk. But if we're talking just fighting in general... However, Volk would probably be our most... Oh, Val Holmes nearly away here. Val Holmes having a cracker game. He'll be at the 25, third tackle. If they score here and make it 18-0, that would be crazy. Really good to see there's not many 6-against happening here. I'll go to the left-hand side to Daniel Atkinson. He'll get it off to Couchman, and Couchman's going to be at the 10 now. Volk, TikTok, cool guy. 10 metres away. They go to the right-hand side to Atkinson. Atkinson off to Stewart. He's thrown the ball to the grass, and Josiah Katapani will pick this ball up at the 15. That was poor. Rage says, what do you mean? Aren't the Titans playing later on tonight against the Waz? Shame they set out their star players. Yeah, no, you are right. Again, we talk in hypotheticals and we talk on like a spiritual level, like I said before. Someone said, why are you saying the Titans are in second last? And I was like, well, that's just to give you guys a chance because we're a community, man, here. I feel for the Panthers, 6 again for the Broncos at the 28. I feel for the lacking success of the Panthers over the years. You know, they've been in for a bit now and haven't won anything and have always been down the bottom of the table. So I feel for them. So that's why, I talk about them being averse and the Titans, being at second last, but just in hypotheticals. And Stag's going to be taken down to the 42 here on third tackle. I'm just a nice, compassionate man, mate. So you got to read between the lines sometimes, man. Come on, get with the times. Fourth tackle now for the Broncos at the 50. 20 minutes gone in the first half, 20 minutes to go. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new around here. And Payne Haas with a good run. He will bring this ball to the 38 on fifth tackle. Broncos out to Adam Reynolds. Adam Reynolds is going to dink this ball underneath. That'll sit up. That's going to be a great kick. And Gutho will be taken down 3 metres out. Staggs was looking for a huge hit. He was looking for a massive one. Yeah, you've not had many world champions in boxing in Oz. Not sure why that is. Because if you look at boxing, for the most part, the most successful boxers come from the most oppressed societies across the years. For example... Russia over the this is in fighting in general. Russia and Ukraine and the likes have had a lot in recent years. Oh man, big hit there from the Dragons at 30. Obviously in America, you had the African Americans who really turned it up during the mid 1900s and late 1900s because they were significantly oppressed back then. They had to fight for their life. Australians don't have to. Oh, it's a penalty to the Dragons here at the 20. Oh boy, Biffo. Throw an uppercut, you cat. Setu 2 and Brendan Piakura. Biffo. So you look at a lot of the most oppressed societies over years, and you'll usually see them be the ones who kind of dominate. And a lot of sometimes it goes against the grain in England and whatnot, but a lot of the time it'll come from more the people who do become so successful aren't the pretty boy private school kids. It'll usually be from the grind of a rougher place in Birmingham or a rougher area in London kind of deal. It usually comes from the more struggle that you've gone through. Yeah, that is 100% a penalty, by the way. So I'd take the 2 here, Dragons, make it 14-0. I would say it should be 4. You should take the 2 here from right in front to make it 14-0. 1,000,000% Dragons. You've got the points on offer. Nate J, he's going to climax. Daniel says, yeah, you've not had many. That's right. Daniel says, Vulcan MMA as an Aussie is unmatched in achievements. Yeah, but I'm talking about if we're going and comparing the overall fighting acknowledgement all-time Australia, it's between probably Kosazu, Mundine, and Volk. Volk definitely for UFC and whatnot. Kosazu is massive, though. I'd just say that Mundine's the most recognised out of all, though. Nate says I'm so horny right now. Sunday, you didn't have to remove that, but I understand why you did. All right, so Dragons here 15 metres away. They are going to take the 2. They are going to take the 2 to make it a 14-0 game. Wow, Brisbane, this is crazy. Jake says, it's tough, though, with Boxing Australia because our good blokes at the moment fight guys from pubs and then they go overseas and get pumped. You're right. Guys and also the publicity of guys like Jaya Bataille and whatnot just don't get the publicity. And that's why you see the best opportunity for publicity for our best boxers is actually to fight on a same card as a Paul Gallen, which is disrespectful, but it's also just a fact. That's the only way you're going to get a lot of the casuals to watch, and then maybe they'll tune in for a lot more Jaya Bataille fights kind of deal. And they will get the kick, so it'll be 14-0 to the Dragons with 18 minutes to go here the first half. Or when Justice Hooney took on Paul Gallen, it just opens the eyes to people who wouldn't typically watch. And it's an unfortunate thing about Australia that people love fighting, but it just doesn't get the publicity it needs. Hooney could have gone far till he lost. Katria says, Dragons lead 14-0 is crazy. It's ridiculous, but it's awesome. It's ridiculous, but it's awesome. However, Broncos are well-known second half and well-known for struggling first half, so great crowd here to watch this game here too. It's a great crowd. 17.5 minutes to go the first half. 14-0 to St George Illawarra. And the restart goes in the in-goal. Don't make an error off points here, Dragons. Everyone does it. Don't do it. I think they've got a 100% completion rate, or maybe 95% completion rate, something like that. Whilst you've said the comp before in regards to can't catch, can't pass round, we have seen some really healthy completion rates this round too. We have. Third tackle here at the 35. For example, the Storm last night, they were spectacular in regards to a completion rate. The Dragons right now, their completion rate would be monumental. I don't even start with O'Neill's Knights. So that's 4. Fifth tackle here for the Dragons to the 48. The momentum tracker is always St George right now. And now it'll be Sai Katapani is going to bring this ball to the 20. Mark Hunt ain't Aussie. Who said Mark Hunt? No, he's talking... no, UK. Laurie's talking about Justice Hooney, not Mark Hunt. So second tackle at the 20. Justin Other Human says, very keen to hear the halftime stats of this one. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty, that's for sure. Broncos right inside Reece Walsh. He gives it a... No, he doesn't give it across. They shaped up for a 3-on-2 and Walsh just didn't pass it. That's arguably a 6 again here. That should have been a 6 again there. But anyway, fifth tackle of the Broncos. Oh, he's looking to offload, but he couldn't get it. Corey Pakes to Reece Walsh, and he's just going to bang that ball up into the air. Ezra Mam chasing this one through. It's going to come for Gutho, and he'll just sacrifice himself for the 10. First tackle. Jakes, if they lose this, the media will be running for the players off Madge again. Yeah, 100%. They've already done that at points this year. They already did this at about round 6 or 7, maybe around 8. I swear we've already had a Madge is the reason for the Broncos losing media dribble for a week or two so far this year. Could be wrong. 4th tackle now for the Dragons at the 35. Broncos just aren't getting a sniff at the moment. They really aren't. They're not getting a single sniff in this game. Not at all. We've got a few of those weekend battlers in the UK too, Morons mostly. The Let's Go Broncos PA chant is just so sad. I agree, Sundo. I agree. So it's going to be first tackle now for Brisbane, and they're going to be at the 25 on their own side of the field. No, the 15. Jeez, I overestimated it. And now they'll be at the 20 on second tackle. And my goodness me. Yeah, Broncos suck in first halves, man. Like, this happens every week with them, and it's happened every week for the last year. Ben Hunt on the field, and Jesse Arthur's now. But the thing is that this Dragons team has not won a game this season. So even if you were to come back and win this, we'd still be looking at you like, what are you doing? And left-hand side here, Broncos could be away. They give it across to Katapani. Katapani, good scrambled defense there. The pass wasn't great from Shibasaki, which forced Katapani to go backwards. If he had gotten a good pass away, they would have been just off it down that left-hand side. Ben Hunt with a really awkward kick here, but Gutho's just going to get the ball at the 5. Just nothing happening in Brisbane. Nothing happened. Jacob says Dragon are good. Well, no, they're not, but they're playing a lot better here today. They're playing good here today, but no, in general, no. Sana says, was in the air when he caught it. Third tackle here for the Dragons. They'll be at the 40 on third tackle. Mark was not successful in the UFC, Brenton. Fourth tackle now at the 45. This is just horrid. Unfortunately, Olivia, it is, but you know full well what first halves and second halves usually are for the Broncos, but you can't rely upon comebacks. It shouldn't be a part of a DNA. You shouldn't be relying that the second half is just going to be different, which is, that's an awful kick from St George, and Brisbane will catch this ball in the in goal, so it will be a 7-tackle set here for the Broncos. Jacob are good. Nath is drunk. Nath drunk. Toby Couchman's on a nice 70 for me right now. Toby Couchman's already on 70. Is he on Supercoach? Wow, that's huge. Jesse Arthur's first tackle here for the Broncos at the 40. Jesse Arthur's returning back home to the Gold Coast next year. Tony Staggs, strong run to the 50 on second tackle. Glad for them for their first win if they do. Laurie, we've still got 53 minutes to go here for this game. Let's relax. 6 again for the Broncos too. All right, here's their opportunity. They've gotten their first sniff in a long time. Payne Haas will beat the 35. I get a feeling the Broncos have disrespected the Dragons coming into this game. I get a feeling that the egos played a part here, and that's I do. Oh, jeez, it's a weird pass. But Brendan Peake, Xavier Willison brings this ball to the 20 on third tackle. They give it off to Carrigan, then to Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam will be taken out of the 15 on fourth tackle. 15 metres out. Fourth tackle now. Reece Walsh. He will get it across to Reynolds. Reynolds here. What on earth was that? You've just slowed the whole play down, taking the tackle. That was just awful from the Broncos. They go to the open side. Left, Payne Haas. Out the back to Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam kicks his ball over the top. Not a good kick, but a good catch. Katapani! That's a good try. That was actually not a good kick, but the Dragons were nowhere near good enough in regard. Oh, this may be held up, he's saying. They're going to the bunker here. Gutho's saying held up, and I think the referee's agreeing with him. Oh, they're looking for high contact first of all, though. Yeah, that defense from the Dragons just then only... I don't know if you're being sarcastic. Like, Setu 2's got to be a lot better in the air there. That was not a great kick from Ezra Mam, but Josiah Katapani just comes through and gets over the top of him. Overall, it was decent defense, but then that was awful from Setu 2. That's a high tackle, so that'll be a penalty to the Broncos regardless here. But he did say that it was held up. Definitely a high tackle. Now, does he score this? Does he get this ball down here? I thought he got the ball down. I thought he did. Oh, no, there's a hand underneath it. Oh, he's lost the ball there. He's lost it. So it's going to be a no try, but it is a high tackle penalty to the Broncos. Yeah, it was a great call from the referee. Jake says, Ty will be on a no-limit card fighting Nelson soon. That'd be actually fun to watch. I'd stream that. Send off. Yeah, send him off. Send him off, just not a human. Send him off. Send him off. Come on. Gutho, you're off for the rest of the game. Send him off. No, Ashley Klein's refereeing the Cowboys-Raiders game, guys. God bless you, Cowboys and Raiders fans. Ashley Klein, in the space of 3 days, screwed 2 games. With that no try call yesterday, and then with the obvious one on Wednesday. So I'm looking for the hat trick of Ashley Klein involvement. It's the bald man in the next game. Ben Hunt and Reynolds. Reynolds off to Xavier Willison, and Willison's going to be 7 metres away from the line. Yeah, no, the bald man is back again in the next game, does he pass? He's the main referee in the next game too. Reynolds, Ezra Mam, Piakura at the 5. He'll roll his ball back. 3rd tackle, Ben Hunt. He'll get it across to Reynolds. Reynolds off to Payne Haas, and Payne Haas is going to run this ball straight. 3 metres out. 4 tackle. 4 tackle. Ben Hunt goes back to the left. Oh, what on earth is that, Brisbane? But I don't understand why you've done this though. Hold on. Sorry, I knocked my thing out. No, that muting is... forget, it's not because of anything. I just accidentally knocked out the microphone. They shaped up to go to the right-hand side there, and then decided to go up the middle with a really hard pass from Ben Hunt, and they knocked the ball on. That was really poor from Brisbane. 3rd tackle at the 42. 10 minutes to go here the first half, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Yeah, it's not Origin, so no send-off. No, you're right. Gutho. Oh, there's a knock-on from the Dragons, though, and the Broncos are going to get this ball here at the 42. At the 42. Username says Broncos are losing. We've got Sherlock Holmes in the chat, guys. Welcome, Sherlock Holmes. Dragons $1.50 now. There's surely no way they're $1.50. I would have put it at like $1.90, $1.80 kind of deal. Like, I would have put it equal, even, because I just know that this Broncos team can turn up out of nowhere, and the Dragons are still winless. So I feel like we also know that if this game is within 14 with 20 minutes to go, the Dragons can clock off absolutely deluxe. The last 20 minutes of games, the Dragons are a nightmare. I think that $1.50 is ridiculously low. So Katoni Staggs, he'll push off 1 tackle, and he'll bring this ball to the 35, and there's going to be a penalty to the Brisbane Broncos for an offside. Penalty to the Broncos. So Ben Hunt, $1.50, that's robbery. It's ridiculous, someone. So first tackle now for Brisbane. It's $1.90 now. Yeah, $1.50 I didn't believe. Because that wouldn't make any sense. That the bookies would be so confident the Dragons will win this from here still. Ben Hunt to Reynolds, 6 again now. Ezra Mam out to Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh steps on the inside. And he's still going here. What is he doing, bro? Oh, dude, you're off your head, Reece. You're off your head. That's what he does, though. Like, bro, it's it was first tackle. It was first tackle, and he offloaded the ball straight to the Dragons. And we all knew there was a Dragons player on his outside. How did he not know? That was literally first tackle. 4th tackle now for the Dragons, the 45. Are we serious? And 6 again for the Dragons. Broncos, after that offload from Reece Walsh, that was baffling. That was absolutely mind-boggling, that offload. Dragons, I hope you score here. 2nd tackle at the 35. That was just horrific. JJ says the Broncos are playing so badly they have a chance to make some bookies very rich at this stage. If they lose to the bottom of the table, Dragons who haven't won any games, then they def pretenders. Well, next week was when they went on their run last year. Next week was when they started their run. 4th tackle now at the 20. And Damien Cook right up the middle. And he'll be at the 5 on 5th tackle now. He's trying to claim a 6 again here. That should have been a 6 again. Reece Walsh was holding his ankle down with his leg. They go Daniel Atkinson. Atkinson off to Gutho. Gutho kicks his ball through. Reece Walsh gets it. That was a poor kick there from Gutho. And Broncos bought the 5. He's on 30-0 the Dragons. Yeah, that won't be happening. It just simply won't be happening, but it'd be nice to see. 2nd tackle now for the Broncos at the 5. How many Broncos played Origin? Is that it, or why are they playing so bad? Because they've been playing poorly all season long. This is just a continuation, really. We would have expected them with players back to be doing better, but this is just a continuation of recent form. 20 meters on this set so far. And Payne Haas, massive run right through. Payne Haas. He's got Tony Staggs was right. And he's going to run it himself. Good rush. That was actually a good block off there from Val Holmes, though, to not allow the pass to Staggs. But Staggs now gets his ball to Reynolds. Fit tackle, 70-metre gain, most of which from Payne Haas. Ezra Mam gives it off to Shibasaki. It's fit tackle. Shibasaki, you're serious. So he's offloaded the ball backwards, and then the Dragons hit the ball at 30. Shiba-fucking-Saki. Pass the ball, bro. You are fit tackle. You have made 90 meters. Pass the ball, bro. Pass the ball. You've had Payne Haas run 50 meters there, and you can't pass the ball? Pass the ball, brother. Third tackle here at the 35. Toes Malone's up the Dragons. Hey, good luck, man. We love it. I'm loving this. It's astounding to see what the Broncos are doing. Reece Walsh offload on first tackle. Shibasaki not passing the ball after a 90-metre game. Paddy Carrigan's gone off the field here. Oh, boy. Can't pass, can't catch round. The Broncos, they allow the ball to be bounced. It's going to be a knock-on here from the Dragons, and Broncos ball to 13. Reece Walsh allowing Hamish Stewart to come and have a play at this is crazy, though. Yes, I do still think the Broncos can win username. It doesn't mean I think they will win, but I do think the Broncos can still win. Dragons are an awful last 20-minute team. They compete for the first 60 minutes in every game. Not the Roosters, but the first 60 minutes of every game, they typically compete heavily, and then they fall off a cliff in the last 20. Jesse Arthur's at the 20 on second tackle, and the Broncos are quite well known for their comebacks, but this Broncos team today has been just horrific. Lots of people will be frustrated if they lose their multis on Broncos. At this point, it seems like the Broncos don't even want to win. Yeah, but there wouldn't have been any value anyway, the Broncos, really. Oh, Shibasaki can't pass the ball to save his life, bro. Shibasaki, you are a hog. You are a absolute hog. You are a hog. Pass the ball, Shibasaki, bro. Pass the ball, Shibasaki. Madeline says, I picked the Broncos in the tipping comp, but it's good to see the Dragons doing well now. Well, doing well now, it's crazy. At the end of the day, there's still 45 minutes to go here, but it's good to see them going well in this individual game, yeah. First tackle in the first half. First tackle at 22, and they'll go to Val Holmes, and Val Holmes will be now at the 30 on second tackle. Can't wait for the Panthers Warriors. I would have said the same thing, Jacob, but the Panthers are not playing Nathan Cleary. They're not playing Isaiah Yeo. They're not playing Brian To'o, and I don't think Casey McLean will come off the bench because he's on a six-man bench, and that's probably just there for cover. So I don't think that he will play. So I'm not as excited as I would have originally been. And I think the Warriors have decided not to play their origin players based off of kind of what the Panthers have done there. Dragons, they've lost the ball, knock on. Josiah Party picks it up at the 15. This will be zero tackle, and he'll be now at the 20 on zero tackle. 4 minutes to go here. Broncos need to learn to pass the damn ball at this point. People would think they're the lower ranked team with how they're playing. 100%. Tony Staggs pushes away from one, and he'll bring this ball to the 25 on first tackle. And Reynolds now off to Xavier Willison. And Willison to the 35. I've not been impressed by Willison this year, man. Now they'll get this ball to the 45 on third tackle. All the Dragons need to do is not concede before halftime. They deserve a 14-0 lead. Don't concede before halftime because that would be so against the grain. Reece Walsh looking for a hole. He gives it to Shibasaki. Shibasaki won't pass. The guy doesn't know to pass. The guy can't pass it to save his life. The guy cannot pass this ball to save his life, Shibasaki. Ezra Mam gets it all the way across to Reynolds. Reynolds flicks it off to... This is so pedestrian from Brisbane. So pedestrian. Wait, why would the Wild's rest their players well? This is their chance to gain points on Penrith. No idea. They've still got a much more full-strength team regardless. Set to 2 picks, ball to 5. Not a single Broncos play even tried to contest for that ball. And penalty to the Dragons. 4 and offside. As long as you don't concede before half-time, fantastic, Dragons. Fantastic. And Tanner says, August 9th to May 31st, here lies winless Dragons' grave. This game has got a long way to go here first. Let's not get too crazy. Dragons definitely the better team right now. We know what Brisbane can do, and we know what the Dragons can do. So whilst I think this is fantastic for the Dragons, let's not pretend like this is over yet. Let's not do it. Just take the 2 from 80 metres away, Infinite Kiwi, okay? Just like the human says, not passing, probably for the best, though, given no one can catch anyway. Well, that's true. Username says, watch the Bronco lose. Well, they're down 14-0 right now, men, so you're not making like an insane bold prediction. Yeah, no, we are watching them currently lose, mate. No, you're right. You're right. You are a very observant man. Wow. That's a penalty for over the horizontal. That should be a penalty against Piakura for over the horizontal, but no, they go out to Blake Laurie, and Laurie now is going to be the 40 on second tackle. Was Trent Barrett in the sheds instead of Madge? Trent Barrett's my goat, mate. Third tackle. He is my goat. Third tackle now at the 33. They go to the left-hand side. They score again here. That's insanely massive. They'll be 20 metres out for tackle. They go to the right-hand side up to Kyle Flanagan. Flanagan then across to Daniel Atkinson. Good rush up there from Shibasaki. At the very least, he can do that rather than pass the ball. Trayon says, wonder if the Brisbane coach will go over passing drills at half-time. Be nice. Just specifically for Shibasaki. Reece Walsh will grab that, and then he'll be taking up to 10. So you've got a minute to go here, and there's 90 metres to gain, Brisbane. Hey, well, Brisbane, you know what's a positive for you? Next week, last year, was the week that you turned it on and decided to show your form and turned your season around. Well, you played the Titans last year to play yourself into form. Over the top here for Staggs. Where's the ball going to bounce? It's going to bounce for Staggs. He's away, he's away, he's away, he's away. Taking up the 50. Oh, Dragons, don't concede before half-time. Don't concede before half-time. That's arguably a bin if he had called that a 6 again, but he doesn't. Third tackle now. Ben Hunt, he's going to run this ball to Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam gets it offload to Adam Reynolds. Don't concede. Don't concede, Dragons. Don't concede. You will lose this game here today if you concede right now. 30 metres out. Broncos don't deserve a try this first half. You will lose this game today if you concede right now. They kick the ball over the top of Reece Walsh. That was stupid, and that's just going to be... There's going to be a penalty to the Broncos here. This is... If they've called this as a... Dragons, you had the kick covered. Why have you taken Reece Walsh out here? There's no reason to take Reece Walsh out here. There's no reason at all. Oh, it's a milk. Oh, it's a milk. Like, you could take the 2 and you'll be down by 12, but that's a milk from Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh just run into the back of Sully there. At least it's consistent with the first try for New South Wales on Wednesday, because Tedesco ran deliberately into the back of Kurt Catewell for a milk. So that's the exact same as the Tedesco on Catewell penalty. Reece Walsh has intentionally looked for contact there. The players, Moses Sully's back is to Reece Walsh, and now it's a penalty to the Broncos. It's the same thing as what we saw on Wednesday. So I think the Broncos are taking the 2 here, and it'll be within 2. So Reece did a Teddy. Reece did do a Teddy, yeah. Anyway, what I was saying was, so the last year, round 14, was when the Broncos turned their season around. It was against the Titans at Suncorp, and Broncos just absolutely whooped us from the start. Well, next week, you play the Titans at Suncorp, which is round 14. I know it's halftime and a long way to go, but I'm so bloody proud of the boys and their effort today. Yeah, you should be happy with the first half. The Broncos don't even deserve this 2-pointer. And also, it shouldn't have been a penalty. But they have been so awful they haven't deserved this. Eden says that's a send-off, penalty try, and Dragons can't have the ball back until 70 minutes. You need help, mate. That's what you need. You need help. That's a positive for the Dragons, not conceding a try. In the first half, sure, but this taking the 2 here is not a positive at all, because it's going to be a 12-point game. So, halftime score is going to be 14 points to 2. You really would have liked it to keep it to that 13-plus lead at halftime, because you just know what can happen in second halves with the Dragons and also the Broncos. But regardless, you would have taken this before the game. If someone had offered you a 14-2 lead to the Dragons at halftime pre-game, you would have said, oh, gee whiz, Dan, get into my veins. I will take that every single day of the week, and I'll give my second-born child for it. That's what Dragons fans probably would have been doing pre-game here. But let's get into the stats. It's going to be an interesting read here for Broncos fans. Obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here, and do not forget we'll be live for the Raiders versus the Cowboys right after this. And then we've also got the final game of the round, Panthers versus the Warriors. Broncos 2, Dragons 14 at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. No tries for the Broncos, but 1 penalty goal just kicked. And for the Dragons, it's Val Holmes and Daniel Atkinson with the tries, and Val Holmes from 2 conversions plus a penalty goal. You go to the possession, 47% possession to the Broncos, 53% possession to the Dragons, relatively equal, slightly in favour of St George, and this is an amazingly healthy amount of time possession. We are not seeing too many impacts in regards to, well, to be fair, the Dragons have actually been quite ill-disciplined today when I quickly go back and have a look at that. Wow. But time and possession, considering we've only seen the 2 tries, which helps this, but 25 minutes is a threshold to seeing free-flowing footy. And the Dragons have 15 minutes, 38 seconds. The Broncos have 14 minutes and 21 seconds. That's 29 minutes. That is 30 minutes essentially on the dot. It's 29 minutes and 59 seconds, but it's basically 30 minutes on the dot. That is incredible. That is a great amount of time of gameplay. Fantastic. So you should be enjoying this game here with the movement of the ball. Now, completion rate. Well, here's the separator. 80%. Well, the errors are a separator in a second, but the completion rate is a separator. 80% is what you're looking for. And the Dragons are doing just that. They're on 80% exactly with 17 from 21. That's fantastic. Well, the Broncos, they're at 68%. 15 from 22. A lot of errors. Lot of errors here for the Brisbane Broncos. 68% is just quite simply not good enough here. It just quite simply is not good enough at all. So they need to really lock their errors in because as we currently speak, it is absolutely diabolical. You go to the runs. 87 runs for the Broncos for 764 run meters. That means they're 106 meters behind the 10 meters in average per run that you're looking for. 106 behind it. Whilst the Dragons are at 105 for a whopping 1,029. They're only 21 meters behind the 10 meters in average per run, but also forget that because they've hit the 1,000 marker. If you hit 1,000 meters in a half, it's now 106 133. If you hit 1,000 meters in a half, it's a spectacular half. Dragons, you should be very happy with that. You are currently beating out the Broncos by about 270 odd, 280 odd on the run meters on pure merit. Now, you've got 19 more runs, but the Broncos are well behind in regards to the run meters 2 runs. So they're probably still only, with the extra 19 runs, they would probably still only beat about 900. You'd probably be still beating about 100 meters, 130 meters kind of deal. So the Dragons are running amok in regards to the run meters. And then the post-contact meters, 232 for the Broncos, 310 here for the Dragons. Now a 20 run gap of 108 to 88. You aren't getting them to the 310. It's probably going to be more so around that 300. I'd probably give them the 290, 300, but they're still behind the post-contact even with that. Now we go to the line breaks, 1-1, so not many here today. Tackle breaks is 21 for the Dragons. A lot of missed tackles there for the Brisbane Broncos and 16 for the Broncos, so pretty average there for the Dragons. But wowee, look at this. Average set distance. Now this is something special. This is something we have not seen all season long. So 25 meters and below is pathetic. Turn the stream off. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is perfect. Well, the Broncos are at 35.75. So they're into the normal category, average category. They're just doing the job. They're just moving and grooving. Just inside it, though. It's not too far into that doing the marker job category. But wowee, the Dragons, 51.67 on an average set distance is immaculate. That is basically a perfect first half on an average set distance level. Anything 50 plus is perfect. 51.67 is amazing. Broncos now at 36.28, which means the Dragons are making 15 or so meters, 15 and a half more meters per set than the Broncos. That is really significant. That is significant. Oh my gosh, it's now 54.1. The Dragons are now 54.1 meters on an average set distance. They are now up by 18 meters per set. 54.1 is nearly the best average. I think that's the best average set distance at halftime that I've seen this year. I feel like it might be. You could prove me wrong, please do. But I feel like off the top of my head, 54.02 now is the best halftime average set distance I've seen from any team in this year. And it's from the Dragons who haven't won a game yet. That's amazing. Now, average play the ball speed. There is a telling point here. 3.19 and below is extremely fast. 3.2 to 3.39 is fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average. 3.6 to 3.79 is slow. 3.8 and above is extremely slow. Well, the Dragons are 3.38 seconds. That's fast. Pretty snappy. Broncos are 3.71 seconds. That's slow. So that is 0.42 seconds behind the Dragons, which is a lot in the modern game of rugby league. That is a significant amount. So you got one fast, now 3.37. You got one fast for the Dragons and one slow for the Broncos, and they're really getting close up there to the extremely slow category. That is a telling point of this game where the Broncos are just not speedy enough at to play the ball at the moment. Now, offloads 5-1, pretty normal there for the Dragons. It's getting up there, but pretty normal. 1 for the Broncos is pretty ridiculous. Kick defusal is 55% for Brisbane, 33% for St George, and then you go to the effective tackle percentage, 86.34% here for the Broncos is underwhelming. 85 and below is disgusting. 85 to 88 is underwhelming. 88 to 90 is hitting the marker, and 90 and above is essentially perfect. Broncos 86.34 is not good enough. 196 tackles made. A typical amount of tackles is 160 to 180. They're 16 tackles made above that, but the missed tackles is massive. 21 missed tackles. The average is 15 to 17. And then you go to the ineffective tackles of 10. 5 to 7 is the average, so 3 above that. They've got 4 more missed tackles than the average and 3 more ineffective tackles than the average. So 31 bad tackles in the first half with 196 tackles made. It's not good enough. 86.34% is not good enough. And then you go to the Dragons, basically perfect. 90.96%. That is basically perfect. 171 tackles made is right in the middle of the average of 160 to 180. 15 missed tackles is on the average of 15 to 17. And the ineffective tackles is only 2, so 3 below the average. 17 bad tackles in the first half of the Dragons with a typical range of tackles made. 31 bad tackles for the Broncos with an above average amount of tackles made, but 90 to 86 and basically 91 as well with the Dragons. There's a massive gap defensively right now. You go to the negative play. 3 and below is really good. 4 to 6 is average and 7 above is awful. Well, Broncos are at 7. The Dragons are at 6. Very close, but the Dragons are in the average category and the Broncos are in the awful category. Made too many errors here. 7-6 is a lot of errors in this game. Penalties conceded. Well, the Dragons are real disciplined here. 5 penalties to 2. Dragons conceded. Ruck infringements is 1-1, and inside 10 metres is 2-0 against the Dragons. So, Broncos, you can't complain about the referees here. You know, you've received 8 infringements, 2 on reports of the Broncos, 1 for the Dragons, but you've received 8 infringements comparatively to 3. It's 8-3 against the Dragons right now in regards to all discipline plays. And the errors is just where the Broncos have just got that 1 extra. So you look at these stats and I will point out that it's still only a 12-point game. The Dragons are well known for falling off in second halves, especially the last 20. The Broncos are well known for coming back in second halves, but it's not been of late at all, especially in that Manly game where you thought maybe, but they didn't at all. And I just don't know if I can trust it. I don't know if I can trust it because that's basically a perfect first half there from St George. That is a perfect first half. Actually, I would say that's as close to a perfect first half as you can get. 80% above, won the possession. More runs, nearly at 1,100 run meters. Anything above 1,000 is perfect. Over 300 post-contact meters is always great. More tackle breaks, equivalent line breaks, faster play the ball speed, normal amount of offloads, way better defense in the 90% plus category. And it's just the errors and the ill-discipline. So no, it's not a perfect first half, but everything except for the errors and the discipline has been perfect. But I don't trust it. So whilst the Dragons are up 14-2, I will be very hesitant with how much I trust them into the second half. I'll be very hesitant with it. I would probably still lean with them just because I know what St George can do and I know what Brisbane can do. But if Brisbane perform to the same levels that first half, they will lose this game 13+. Because they're lucky to even be on 2 points right now. Seth Man says, Penrith, good stuff, mate. Sharks beat 2016. I was there. Yes. What does this have to do with anything? Troy says, Dragons have gotten much better every game since the Panthers. Hold on. They've gotten much better every game since the Panthers. That was like 2 games ago. That was 2 weeks ago, bro. There's only been 1 game. Well, I guess there's been 2 games here. A little bit too short of a time frame here, man. A little bit too short of a time frame. A little bit too short of a time frame to be really making that kind of judgment call. But like, sure, at the end of the day, they on a technical basis they have, but also a very short time frame that you're using for that discussion. But again, not going to necessarily disagree with it overall. Home of the NRL, so I think if the Broncos don't have a comeback, Dragons will win 24-10, but 12 points isn't much to overcome. Dude, 12 points can be done in 1 minute nowadays. It can be done in 2 minutes for sure. I will say this is actually a significant benefit to Cronulla, in a way. If the Dragons win this, well, I guess they could still go and win next week. But if the Dragons lose this from here, I feel like their mentality will actually drop rather than feel positive. I feel like they need to win this from here for their own mentality's sake. Because if you lose this, you were up at halftime and you were dominating at halftime and still found a way to lose. I just feel like that's actually going to hit them harder than you think. So they need to come through in this game. It is a must-win from this point onwards. And it's no guarantee by any means. But if you find a way to lose to this Broncos team with how poor they've been, from here, I feel like that really suits the Sharks in the fact that your mentality won't be to the scratch next week. You'll force yourself to think positively for mine. You will. You'll force yourself to think positively and say, well, we gave it a good crack and we definitely competed better and we're getting better and better. But I would have my significant downs mentality-wise if you found a way to lose this game. Jake says first try, second half wins it, I reckon. Yeah, it's a good call. It's a good call. Rooster Man, if the Dragons win, everyone's comp is on the line. What? Everyone's comp is on the line? If the Dragons win, everyone's comp is on the line. What? Sorry, what are you saying? Real Destroying Dante, you're not a big fan of the Broncos? Not a big fan of the Broncos. I'm loving your Pat Cash your headwear blades. Well, this is what I got in Thailand, mate. I got these in Thailand. I don't mind it sometimes. Like, usually I'll wear an old a hat or whatnot, but I couldn't actually find a hat today, so I just decided to, Paddy Cash, mate. Paddy Cash. I do need to get another Coke Zero, though. I've got a little bit left. We've got a long day ahead of us, so I might actually quickly run and get that Coke Zero. Guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. I'm just quickly going to grab a drink, and I'll be back. Ooh, gee whiz. I'll be back in just a few moments while it's half time. We're back. We're back. Infinite Kiwi says wild and free. Mate, living wild and free. Username says, imagine losing to the Dragons. I forgot to unmute. What's it called? I need to move. So we've got the cord here. I need to move it so I don't keep knocking it out. I keep knocking it out a little bit. Anyway, we're sweet. What was I saying? So username said, imagine losing the Dragons. Yeah, couldn't be me. Couldn't be the Titans. Could never be the Titans. Never. What are you thinking? Don't be silly. Do not be silly. And this username, who do you go for? He goes for the Titans. That's who he goes for. Do you think either of these teams were a top 4 or top 8 team? And he says, we need to keep this level up for the next. I can't believe we've got either of these teams. Do you realize the Dragons have not won a game this season so far? Have you been watching this year, Surferman? Okay, the Dragons are up 14-2, but have you been watching this season so far, Surferman? That's all I'm going to ask you. Why would you be asking if I believe the Dragons could be a top 4 or top 8 team? What are we doing? Oh, well, they've been positive. They have been positive at the very least. They have been positive. But the fact that you're asking me if the Dragons are a top 8 or top 4 team when they haven't won a game throughout the season is incredible. How many else is against any top 8 teams right now? The Broncos would be down by about 30. Absolutely. 100%. 100%, mate. Silence says the Dragons forwards play so well, just their backs that are lacking. Yeah, the Dragons forwards have been... the Broncos are out in the field now, same with the Dragons, and the game has kicked off in the second half. Dragons kick it down to the in goal, where the Broncos... You need to find a way to cut into this, and really, if you make a game of this, I think they go on with it. But hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. But yeah, look, the Dragons forwards are really nice to watch. Hamish Stewart and the Cowsham Bros, and Damon Cook gets a little bit going on that number 9, even though he's off next year, and Locker Jr. is doing what he can. Dylan Egan. So no, I don't mind the old forwards for the Dragons, but yeah, their backs do significantly lack. 4 tackle, but they've been good today. 4 tackle at 30, and they go to Payne Haas, and Payne Haas is going to bring this ball to the 45 to the 50 on fit tackle. Besides that error, Payne Haas has been brilliant today, however. Adam Reynolds, they go quickly underneath. It's fit tackle, and they're going to take it down to 40. Oh my gosh, Brisbane. Oh, we're doing it already. We're doing it already, are we? We're doing it already. I take back everything about a tri-fest. Yeah, look, it's not looking like a tri-fest here today, T-Schmiles. Not looking like a tri-fest. Can see Stags for a try. Well, I called a try for Stags pre-game, but right now it's not looking fantastic. Broncos don't look like they know what they're doing. Payne Haas having to get his right eye stitched with a bit of a head clash with Ryan Couchman there. That was a forward pass from Reynolds anyway, to be fair. It should have been called. But either way, it was fit tackle and Dragons are now on the attack. First tackle at the 45, and they go to Josh Kerr. I know they said Paul Vaughan. Josh Kerr at the 38. Damien Cook, Kyle Flanagan, and Flanagan will be at the 30 on third tackle. Dragons, you just got to keep competing at the same level you did in the first half. That's all you need to do. You don't need anything special. Don't get ahead of yourselves. Just compete to the same level as the first half, and you'll win this game. Fourth tackle at the 20. And Moses Sully to Damien Cook. Damien Cook's got Ryan Couchman there. He cuts back to the right-hand side off to Daniel Atkinson. And Atkinson will be at the 15 on fit tackle. Weekend of Warnies, look out. Love a good barbecue, mate. Love a good snag. They get it to Kyle Flanagan. He'll kick this ball through. Stags will get it, and he'll be... Jesse Arthurs will get it, and he'll be at the 5 on first tackle. Are we going to see anything at any stage, Broncos? Like, are we going to see you do anything at any stage? It's a great question. How disappointing would this be, though, for Brisbane fans right now? Third tackle at the 15. Reece Walsh to Josiah Katapani, and Katapani brings it to the 25 on fourth tackle. Paddy Carrigan's still over there. He's on the bike right now. He's still on the bench. Reece Walsh. Oh, he's having a shocking game today, Reece. He's having a shocking game today. Fit tackle, 29-metre gain is awful. At least that's going to hit the bounce at about, and it's going to go back to the 5, but should be an easy run back here for Fianay, and he's going to be at the 20. I can guarantee a Shibasaki knock on. Well, maybe, because he's not going to pass the ball, so entirely possible. Oh, no, Ben Hunt is... Oh, no, he's okay. It looked like he might have been injured there, but he's okay. Third tackle at the 35. They didn't even get to a kick on their first set of the second half. What did Match tell them? Josh Kerr gets a great offload away to Kyle Flanagan. He'll push this ball to Ryan Couchman, and Couchman's going to be now at the 45 on the Broncos side of the field. Only thing else is the fact that the Dragons, who are 0-11 coming to this game, are averaging over 50 metres a set is insane. It's probably for mine. Oh my gosh, right through the line. Oh, the Dragons get the ball off the bounce. Val Holmes through the line. Val Holmes away here. Oh, knock on. No, worst case scenario. Reece Walsh will get the offload away to Ezra Mam, and he'll push away. He'll go out to the left-hand side. He'll run it himself. He'll be at the 25 on zero tackle. You're right, because I don't think I've seen a better first half average set distance so far this season. Ezra Mam, he is going down his haunches right now. God bless him. First tackle here for the Broncos at the 30. Ezra Mam is still down right now on the ground. Second tackle at 35. He's still down. So that would mean if that happened, you'd probably expect Ben Hunt to go into the 7. No, Ben Hunt to go to the 6 and Adam Reynolds is the 7. It's a very agey halves pairing. Fourth tackle. We're like a 35-year-olds, basically. Adam Reynolds, and we do have our complaints about Reynolds and how he can slow the game down in that 7 as well, for sure, which is not great. Payne Haas at the 40. Not reading it out, Nate. They go to Adam Reynolds, and 38-metre gain is okay. Good chase here, though, from the Broncos. Stags. Great hit from Katoni Stags to the 3. All right, it's hits like that they need to really focus on their defense here. Keep them inside their own 30. Force them to kick from inside their own 30 and just get some momentum based off of that hit. Stags again comes in for another hit around the legs, and Payne Haas and Pentalty complete it. It's going to be 4 tackle here at the 25, so not many meters at all here from the Dragons. Walsh better do something if he wants to look for Origin 2. I just don't think they're going to change much for Origin 2, Queensland. Great defensive set even the Broncos. So the Dragons will only get to the 38. I think it's something about a 33-metre gain, 35-metre gain. Worst champions in your opinion, Arsenal or Brisbane? Brisbane deserved 100%. There was no question mark about them winning the championship last year. There's no question about the Broncos winning the premiership last year. Whilst Arsenal, second tackle here at the 35. Teach says, Walsh better do... Oh, that's right, I read that. Reece says, what happened to Val, man? Is Val injured, is he? Did something happen with Val? He's been really good today. Val scored the first try. in this game. Oh, that's a great run from Ben Talty. 4 tackle to the 44. Who else is at the game? Yeah, I'm here, mate. I'm on the field right now. I'm on the field right this very second. 5th tackle here at the 30 for Payne Haas. And they'll go to the right-hand side at the 30. Adam Reynolds kicks his ball up. The chase through here from Reece Walsh. I think that's going to be a knock-on from Reece Walsh. Dragons ball here at the 10. Like, Walsh is trying, but it's just not working. Nothing's working here for the Broncos at the moment. Just nothing is working. Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Nothing is working for him. So lethargic at the moment. So pedestrian. Fiona will be taken down here at the first tackle at the 13. Like, I wouldn't say it's an exciting game. It's an interesting game, but I wouldn't say it's an exciting game right now. Ezra Mem has come off, and it's a knock on Dragons. Don't do it, St George. Don't do it to yourselves. You can't allow opportunities to Brisbane here to get back into the game. They are not in the game right now. A knock on here. If they score off this set, they're well and truly in this game. They are not in it at all mentally, physically, and they just have shown no quality in this game so far. A drop ball like that can completely change the complexion of the game. Exactly right, Mo. Plenty of time for the Saints to lose this. It's only 2 converted tries, 33 minutes to go here. Plenty of time to lose this. That is a really bad drop ball. So Broncos now, it's get how much Shibasaki. He's not going to pass the ball 15 metres away from the line. It says, remember, he is off the field. Adam Reynolds. He'll get at the back to Reece Walsh. Walsh then to Tony Staggs. Staggs. He'll... Oh, bro. Oh, Broncos, you're pathetic today. Oh, you're pathetic today. Knock on there from Katoni Staggs. The Broncos are pathetic today. There's no defending them right now. There's no defending them. Val Holmes gets the offload away to Gutho, and Gutho's going to be taken back at the 3 now. And second tackle, stupid offload from Val Holmes. But the Broncos have been pathetic so far today. Oh, that's a huge hit, though. At least they're getting some big hits. There's 3rd tackle for the Dragons at their own 5. At least this is a really good defensive set from Brisbane. Moses Sully. He will get this ball out of the 15. Oh, and then they're going to break away. They're going to break away at the 30, the 35, the 40, and taking down 4 tackles. So a fantastic defensive set is ruined as well from missed tackles. It's really been poor. It's really, really poor, Brisbane. Ryan Couchman, he'll be at the 40 on 5th tackle. Dragons are making the Broncos look pathetic. Not true at all, Benny. Broncos have done this for weeks now, man. This has been really disappointing from the Broncos for weeks and weeks now. The Broncos do this every week at the moment, unfortunately. Josiah Katapani is going to beat the 30. Good defense. Apart from the missed tackle. Yeah, it was solid. It's fine. Get how much Shibasaki at the 30. Well, that wasn't even... That didn't... Oh, for the Broncos. Okay, yeah. Jesse Arthurs will bring this ball to the 40 on 3rd tackle. 30 minutes to go with the game here, folks. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. And the Broncos will bring this ball to the 45. Good offload there. They go Corey Pakes, then off to Ben Talty. And Talty's going to be at the 45 on 4th tackle. Just need to keep it up and not go into our show. 100%. We're getting close to the period of the scare factor for the Dragons. That last 20. Reece Walsh. Oh, no. Reece has been shocking today. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. The Broncos have been awful. Oh my gosh, they've been awful. This is a nightmare from the Broncos. They dropped the ball. The Dragons are now 1st tackle for 20. 0 tackle at 25. To Gutho. Score here, Dragons, please. Please score here. The Broncos, you deserve to lose this by a lot right now. This is really, really awful. Yeah, Reece Walsh is having an atrocious game, Mo. 2nd tackle now for the Dragons. They're going to go to the left-hand side. 5 metres away. 3 metres out now. 3rd tackle. They go to the left to Kyle Flanagan. Flanagan to Gutho. Intercept by Jesse Arthurs. He's away here. Oh my gosh, Dragons. No. Oh, Dragons. No, you didn't. Oh, Dragons, you didn't do what I just seen. Oh, Dragons, you didn't. Oh, Dragons, you did not do it. I'm in pain watching this game. I cannot believe you just allowed the Broncos to have an intercept for a try. A 90-metre intercept for Jesse Arthurs. You've got to be shitting me. Dragons, please remember how to win, mate. Please remember how to win. I cannot believe the Broncos are going to be only down by 6 points here. Mo says, I hate this team. Oh, that pass is so bad. It's straight to the hands of Jesse Arthurs. That is such a bad pass. And the Broncos will score underneath the post there. That is a nightmare. Mo says, yeah, this is us, Broncos. Bro, there is no way you are proud of this Broncos performance, brother. There is no way. Broncos looks bad. Dragons don't want to win. Correct, Jack. Well, the Broncos are going to be back within 6. Scots' Dragons, you had the whole NRL behind you. It's not even about that, though, man. Like, it's about the fact that the Broncos have not been in this game at all, and then you see that error from the Dragons. Luckily, the Broncos then make an error because of how poor they've been. The Dragons then run away all the way to the 20 on the attack and then throw an 80-metre intercept. Aussie Spaceman says, it's Flanagan. He's not NRL standard. Great defender, but trash and attack. Feel bad for the Dragons fans. Sure, but Gutho was the one who threw that intercept. It was Gutho. Hey, well, just another human can't pass, can't catch, because, well, Gutho can pass, just not to the right team. Oh, says, I can see the Broncos scoring on the 4 more tries now. Let's relax. Mo says, Mo says, each time I think the Saints reach the bottom of the pit, a new week comes along to show me there is further to go. Still only a 6-point game. Dragons are still leading in this game. But my gosh. Dragons just gave the Broncos momentum to a dead team. Yeah, they did. They did. So he says, Dragons, please. Live by the gut, die by the gut. Well, if they lose this game, I'm saying they died by the Gutherino. Mam to crash over the line. Thank you, home in the NRL. I understand the reference, but Ezra Mam's off the field right now with an injury. Yeah, it is very disheartening for the Dragons there, Sundo. Second tackle for the Broncos, and they're going to be at the 25 on second tackle. Maybe the Dragons are good. Every team that versus them plays trash, like Penrith Warriors and now the Broncos. Penrith won by 22. The Warriors still won by 18. Like, come on. That's a 40-20 attempt here, but it's not going to have the angle on it. It's a good kick, but it's not going to have the angle on it at all. And on third tackle, not good enough overall. So first tackle now for the Dragons, the 15. Still have hope for the Broncos to make it. I still feel like the Broncos win this game because we haven't even gotten to the nightmare period for St George. They usually fall away in the last 20 minutes of games. We've still got 7 minutes to go into that last 20, and they're only up by 6. So I still believe the Broncos win this game, but either way, you guys are absolute fraudsters right now. This is horrific. I hope the Dragons team don't celebrate like they won the grand final if they win. Oh, let them have it. Let them celebrate it. Like, it's been a tough year for you guys. You're a Dragons fan. Like, let them celebrate it, man. I wouldn't be upset if I saw Dragons celebrating like they'd won the comp when they win their first game. I did when I went to New Zealand when we were 0-7 going into that game. And there's nobody who's going to tell me that I'm not entitled to celebrate like that. When you're a shit club, man, and when you're down the bottom of the table, you celebrate whatever you can damn well get. I'll tear up after a bloody win, you know, and my team's just not going to make the finals, but I'll do that because I love my team and I'm happy that I'm not seeing a shit performance again for another week. So, no, I wouldn't hate it if they did. Xavier Willison, 4 tackle to the 40. Jags, if the Broncos lose this, can we put a line through them for the 8? No, but it wouldn't be great. Stags, he'll get this ball to the 45 on fifth tackle. And Adam Reynolds, he will put an awkward one here into the middle of the field. Where's the ball going to bounce? It bounces out towards the corner. And set to 2. He's going to bring this ball to the 10, to the 15, and I'll be first tackle. Donkeys will get ahead full of steam now. Dragons just let off the release valve game of halves. Well, they haven't released anything since scoring that try just yet. Second tackle now at the 25. Again, wait this next 5.5 minutes and then see if the Dragons are the same final 20-minute bottlers. Last 20 is what you got to watch with St George. Ryan Couchman, that wasn't a complete tackle, so it'll be third tackle. No, offloads it again. Flanagan at the 45. Off to Val Holmes, and Holmes is going to be at the 50 on third tackle. Aussie Spaceman says, there was a time when Gutho was an Origin player. Gutho used to be a very solid player. I never thought that he was unbelievable, but he was a very, very solid player for the Eels. I definitely had him top 5. I don't know if I ever had him in top 3, but he was definitely top 5. Right-hand side, and the Dragons will be at the 13 on fit tackle. Just no X factor, but defensively resilient at Parramatta. Very structural. Daniel Atkinson puts his ball up. It's going to be a chance of the Dragons. They knock the ball backwards. They're actually going to score. 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 The Dragons will score. No, they're not. They're going to go to the bunker. No, they're going to the bunker. No try. Oh, in the contest, it's going to be a knock-on here from the Dragons, apparently. Okay, so it's Stags going up here. Oh, no. I think he controlled it and then threw it back. I think this is a try. Oh. Yeah, I think this is backwards. This is fine. This is a try for the Dragons here. Oh, unless they say that's a knock-on. No, he's backwards. This is a try. This is a... Oh, bro, that pass is dubious. That pass is dubious from Gutho. That pass... They can't call for a pass in the bunker, though, but I would have said that's probably forward from Gutho. But it's a try for the Dragons. They can't rule. They can't adjudicate a forward pass in the bunker. So this should be a try. It's going to be 18 points to 8 with a kit to come. There we go. Try time for the Dragons. Oh, I think that pass from Gutho was forward, so you're going to see Broncos fans very critical of that. But Broncos fans, let's be honest with ourselves. I don't even know why I said ourselves. Let's be honest with yourselves. This is just not being good enough from Brisbane. It's a forward pass of mine, but like they can't call it in the bunker. Gutho from 2019 and 2023 was in the top 5 fullbacks of the comp, but just below top 3 for me. Yeah, that's what I was always saying. Shotzi says, still plenty of time, but it would be cool. Yeah, long way to go here. It's still only going to be a 10, 12-point game. Probably a 12-point game. 12 points in 24 minutes is fine. Gutho in his prime was like Will Kennedy, a safe fullback, but didn't have the speed or step to be a flashy fullback. No, Will Kennedy is lower. Gutho in his prime was way better than Will Kennedy. Similar mold. I know what you're trying to get at. Like, Will Kennedy and Gutho, similar mold, but no, Gutho was definitely way more elite than what Kennedy has shown. And way more consistent than Kennedy too, mind you. Way more consistent. All right, so this to hit the 20, and Val Holmes will get the kick. So it's a 12-point deficit. 23 and a half minutes to go here in the game. It's a 12-point deficit. Eden says, forward pass or not, no excuse for this performance from us. 100%, yeah. 100%. I take whatever there is to be taken. Exactly right. Broncos suck. There's not really much of an argument for that right now, Highlands fan. Not really at all. No panic from the Dragons once they conceded. And they are well on top at the moment. Reece Walsh has had a generational stinker here today. Generational. So Gutho gives it off to Emre Gula, and Gula's going to be at the 15. Just don't make an error after these points. Do not do it. Whoever said a full-time score of 32-8 for the Dragons might be onto something. I don't think anyone did. And if they did, they were just probably a Dragons fan. Because no one would have thought 32-8 was possible at all here. Even though the last 2 scores at Suncorp Stadium, the Dragons have beaten the Broncos 30-26. This might be the 3rd win in a row at Suncorp for the Dragons, by the way. So 4 tackle off to Gutho. And it'll be taken down here at the 50 on fit tackle. And Daniel Atkinson now. He's going to put this ball down to about the 20. Dragons, good chase. Dragons drop the ball. So it's going to be Broncos ball here at the 20. 22 and a half to go. Nike says Broncos need a comeback. Definitely. Set of 2, too many errors. We can't blame set of 2 really for that. Like the ball up in the air. Like, yeah, sure, he has a bit of a free shot at it, but it's off a 5th tackle kick. Like, you can't expect the catch there easy. Well, you can't be too upset about it. It's like you completed your set regardless. So the Broncos now bring this ball to the 22 on first tackle. Oh, there's plenty of time for a comeback. The game is not over until this is the same score with 30 seconds to go in the game. If there is a minute to go in this game and it's still 20-8, it's game. That tells you that you can still see 2 tries in the space of like a minute and a half. So that's why you've got to be very careful calling it quits already. If the Dragons score next, though, Oh, that might be a kick here. This may be a try. This may be a Val Holmes try here. This may be a Val Holmes try here. They're going to check this. So he's touched this and then thrown his boot at it. I think they're going to call this a try. This could be it. He's called a try. It's under the post as well. Val Holmes has gone for the intercept. I think he's thrown his boot out of this, and that will be a kick. I think this is a try. I'm pretty certain this is going to be a try because he's touched it with his hand. He's thrown a boot at it, which would then constitute a kick, and then he's picked it up cleanly. Touch, bang, that's a kick. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. This is a try. There is nothing wrong with this one at all. That is 100% try. You cannot say that's a knock on. He has touched the ball. It's unintentional, but he has deliberately thrown his boot out at that to try and get it. That's completely fine. Rage says 20 is the highest full-time score the Dragons have scored this year against the Storm and the Eels. If this is a try, they've surpassed it. This is the first time they've gone past 20 this year. St George Illawarra, they're going to be up by 18 points. 26-8, because this is a try. I cannot believe it, Brisbane. You are going to be the first team to lose to St George Illawarra this year. 20 minutes to go here at the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Like, it's not game, but the Broncos need to score a try within the next 10 minutes. Let's put it that way. The Broncos need to score a try in the next 10 minutes. It's not game, folks. But if they score a try in the next 10 minutes, it's on. If they don't, it's off. Are the Dragons doing well? The Broncos just shit. Dragons are doing... It's not mutually exclusive. The Dragons are doing well, and the Broncos are doing shit. It might be a 13 plus, exactly. Aussie Spaceman says, yeah, Broncos are not winning the comp now. Again, next week, last year was when they went on their run, and they're playing the same team next week as they did last year in round 14. This surely could not happen. Dragons beating the Broncos. It's happening. You better believe it. You better damn well believe it. The only people who said Dragons 13 plus were Dragons fans. And they wouldn't have been believing it. They were just hoping for the best. And congratulations to them. This is awesome for you. Emre Gula is going to be at the 15 on first tackle. Dragons 50 bombing coming. I'll take the ban. I'm calling it. It's not possible. But the thing is that when people ask for a ban, you get 10, bro. So we'll see you with the 9 minutes to go mark. If you deliberately do stuff for bans, guys, you get a 10er, not a 5. So it's going to be 4 tackle now for the Dragons, and they're going to beat the 40, and we're also not seeing 50 in this game. How do you spell Broncos? Frauds, one of the worst premiership winning teams of all time at the moment. Jeez, 5th tackle at the 50. Nike says, Madge is making the Bronx one-hit wonders. We're back to Madge, is it? We're back to blaming Madge, are we? And, that's going to be probably a knock-on. Yeah, knock-on Broncos. Oh, no, you're going to get slapped. Oh, my gosh, you're getting humiliated. It's 30-8. It's 30-8. The Dragons have scored again, set to 2. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh, Brisbane. Oh, my gosh. You're off your head, Brisbane. You're off your head. You're getting whooped. Brisbane, you are getting whooped in this game. You are serious. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing, Brisbane. 18.5 minutes to go at home. You are down 30 points to 8. And, it's going to be a knock-on set to 2. It's either a double knock-on first off Broncos or it's a knock-on set to 2, but this won't be a try. Either way, this is ridiculous. There's no way this won't be a knock-on. Either both ways or just Dragons. Broncos coach walked away. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, Madge just walks out of the coach's box. But Sector 2 definitely dropped that. Walsh has had a stinker today, Jake. Absolute stinker. Have they said this is a try? Did this go backwards? Did it go backwards? Am I drunk myself? Okay, I'm willing to accept that I got it wrong. The Dragons have played well and they might win a couple of games before they play the Bears. Yeah, try confirmed. So it was fine. Must have gone backwards there from Sector 2. And they missed the kick, so it will stay 22-point game, 30 points to 8 with 17.5 minutes to go. Dragons have finally beat the odds Jake says, biggest upset of the last 10 years? No way, bro. No. Tigers, Panthers the other year. This is like, the Broncos are still 11th, guys. The Broncos are still 11th. Like, again, let's look at their recent weeks to talk about how this Broncos team is. Like, it's an upset for sure, but nowhere near biggest upsets. Like, they lost 42-12 2 weeks ago to the Warriors at home on Magic Round. You know, they lost to the Manly Seagulls 32-4. They lost to the Roosters 38-24, and they were down 24-0 at half time. You know, they went and beat the Bulldogs, but the Bulldogs are ass, and the Tigers had, that was a massive win for them, but they lost 35-31 to the Cowboys. You know, like, this Broncos team has still been really, really rough this year so far, which is what they did last year. But no, this is not like it's an upset for sure, and a big upset because the Dragons themselves haven't won a game for the season. But if the Broncos had have lost to anybody below them besides the Dragons, it wouldn't be that much of a crazy result. They're not good this year. The Dragons now going to be at the 35 on third tackle. So not the biggest, still pretty big though. Yeah, still pretty big for sure. I just think that it's the Dragons that are making it the big upset rather than the Broncos, because this is a very, very understandable result. Like, for example, last week when people kept asking us, and I've maintained the whole time this season, you guys can go back to every stream, everyone always goes, will the Dragons win a game this season? And most people said, no, they're not going to win. And I kept saying, they will win a game this season. And this was their best chance against the Broncos team that have been awful recently, and the Sharks team next week, who that was their last win back in round 23 of last season. This was their winnable 2 weeks, and they seemed to go and do it. They seemed to go and win it. Chelsea says, Madge about to run on the field soon. Probably need him right now. Ben Hunt to Reynolds. Reynolds off to Xavier Willison. And mind you, the best player for the Broncos today has been Payne Haas, who you are losing next year. Ben Hunt, Ezra Mam. He'll give it to Shibasaki. He's not going to pass the ball. He'll never pass the ball. Good run. He's through. No one following him up, though. No one following him up. And he'll be at the 30 on fifth tackle. Not a single Broncos player chased that. Adam Reynolds, he'll think that up, and back underneath. That's going to hit the post, and it's going to be a dropout. Broncos were winless the first 2 games. Yeah, okay. But they played the Panthers, and the Eels was a bad loss, but the Panthers was a normal loss. Stags has been awful today, Moses, unfortunately. He's done nothing. Almost 700 games of experience in the Broncos halves, by the way. Yeah. Did Ezra Mam come back on the field? I forgot that if he came back on or not. Yeah, Ezra Mam did come back on the field. There he is there. All right, Payne Haas, he's going to bring this ball to the 30 on first tackle. You need to score now, and then you need to score now again, and then you need to score now again here, Brisbane. 22 points is crazy work. Va'a Semu, he's going to be 24 metres away from the line. Everyone's played the worst for the Broncos Nikes, except for a guy like Payne Haas. Everyone has been. Ben Hunt to the 20, third tackle. They go to the left, off to Adam Reynolds. Reynolds at the back net, Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam gives it off. This is going to be a try. Oh, he should have backed himself there. But it's going to be 5 metres out from the line, fourth tackle. Off to Ezra Mam, fourth tackle at 10. And I don't know why he's taking the line on there, man. You need to throw the ball around. You're down by 22 points. Adam Reynolds. Reynolds is running back short side. Plays this through for himself. It's going to be another dropout. I just don't know what the Broncos are doing on attack right now. I really don't. Alex says ready to switch to the Dolphins, bro. Oh, come on, man. Broncos fans, seriously? You won the premiership last year. What are we doing? You won the premiership last year, and we've got a comment saying ready to switch to the damn well Dolphins because of what, one half of a season? Mate, so the Broncos are going to get this ball here. Oh, no. Why have they let that ball bounce? Are you shitting me? That is disgraceful from Va'asemu. That is pathetic. You are fresh on the field, and you just let the ball bounce there at the 45 on your own side of the field. It goes back to the 30 off a dropout. You're off your head. Stags now. He's going to punch this ball to the 45 on the Dragons side of the field. And is that number 16 a bloke? A genuine person with a working brain. You're talking about Samu, who let that ball bounce just then. Reynolds gives it to Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam at the back here to Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh just waiting for a knock on from him at this point with how poor his game's been. He gives it to Payne Haas, and Payne Haas runs this ball out to the right-hand side. He'll get to Tony Staggs. That's going to be a knock on here from the Dragons. And Broncos will get this ball back at the 20. This is what's the ladder to your left. That's the official ladder, mate. That's the official ladder. Paddy Carrigan still on the sideline. He never came back on this game. Don't forget, guys, right after this, we will have the Raiders taking on the Cowboys at GIO Stadium in Canberra before the final game of the round is the Panthers versus Warriors blockbuster at CommBank. We'll be live for both of those games. So Adam Reynolds puts it into the scrum to Corey Paix. Get Hamachi Basaki. He's never passing the ball. He'll be at the 14 on first tackle. And they go Corey Paix to Var Semu. And Semu, that's a strong run to the 3. He needs to make up for that disaster he just had just now. Second tackle here at the 3. Corey Paix gives it to Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt to Payne Haas. And Payne Haas, he'll run this ball to the 5. Oh, he's lost the ball, has he? Oof. I think they got lucky there. Third tackle to 5 metres out. Corey Paix to Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam, Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh. That's going to be 6 again here with the Broncos. Shibasaki gets it. Is he going to pass it? 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 Never in his life is he going to pass it. First tackled out the 20. They go to Adam Reynolds. No answers at all here, Brisbane. It's been so lethargic. It's not going Shipper's way. I don't know why they keep going left-hand side and not right-hand side. Not that the right-hand side's been working either, but they really are loving this left-hand side today. Ezra Mam, Reece Walsh, this should be a try. It should be a try. It will be a try. Broncos will score. Desai Katapani, and he will bring it closer to the post as well. So it's going to be 30-12 with the kick to come. 10 minutes to go here at the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Well, look. If they get this kick, they will get this kick. But 16 points in 10 minutes is a short time frame, but it's doable. But surely not Dragons. But the last time the Dragons did concede, they didn't panic. Hopefully they don't panic here because you've still got a massive lead at the moment. No longer a Bronx now. I'm Panthers. I'm not even going to respond. I'm not even going to dignify that comment with a response. Flames on Game says, who are you backing for the next game as a try scorer? Looking forward to the 10%. I will go with a Huddy Young. I think I have to. Hudson Young's been on form this season for the Raiders. He scored a try in New South Wales. I think that the Cowboys are definitely susceptible to their back robbers getting done over there. I'm going to say Huddy Young. And I think that's an obvious one, but I do like a Huddy Young. Huddy Young special. I'm not calling the game to the final whistle, that's for sure. Yeah, I agree, Sundo. Back line for the Raiders. Jeez, you do really want to go with Ethan Strange with his form. But he doesn't have an Nathan Cleary as his halfback now. Maybe KO Weeks. He might go the obvious. So they will get the kick off the post and in. So it'll be 30-14 with 10 minutes to go of the game. Nintendo said if Dragons do lose, this might legitimately break them and they will go winless this year. I was actually kind of speaking about this about 20 minutes ago, if you remember, or halftime. At halftime, I was saying, like, if the Dragons find a way to lose this game... Oh, yeah, he did put the ball down first, close to the sidelines. That's why they didn't give it to him closer to the post. How embarrassed would you be today if you're a Broncos fan? They're feeling embarrassed, that's games, for sure. Edens, I wish they would have the clock not ticking while conversion kicks. That's what happens. For the Cowboys, who would I take as a try scorer? Murray Talangi's back. I'm going to take Murray Talangi. Murray Talangi back for the Cows. And then forwards-wise, it's very difficult to go away from Helam Lukey. I nearly got Sammy McIntyre last week. Shit, I'm going to go Sammy McIntyre again. Sue me. Geez, big hit there. Vasema gets whacked at the 10. Well, if you can score... Oh, it's a penalty to the Broncos. Dragons, don't do it to yourselves. Dragons, you can't allow this to happen. You cannot allow this to happen. Penalty to the Broncos immediately, and they're allowing the Broncos back into this game. If they score on this set, I'm telling you, that is a high tackle. If they score on this set, I'm telling you the Broncos can still win this game. And they should not even be in with a sniff in this one. Says, both teams made history today. Broncos being the first team to lose the Dragons this season. The Dragons win their first win of the season. Let's just hold on a second. There's still 9.5 minutes to go. It's not going to happen, Sundo. It can't do it. They can't do it. I'm clutch has come on Brisbane. Well, that's an awful kick for the penalty. Guys, you got to risk it right now. You can't just be kicking a 10-metre penalty. You're down by 16 with 9 minutes to go at home against a team that's not won a game all season, and you're kicking for 10 metres on a penalty? Are you serious? It would be the most Dragons thing to lose here, but I'm really hoping they win. It'd be the most Dragons thing to lose here and the most Broncos thing to win from here as well. Ezra Mam gets knocked to the side. Katapani. Katapani's going to back himself on the wing, and he'll be taken down to the 45 on the Dragons side of the field. Second tackle. Choppy says, Kalapong got sent off for that. Don't start it, Choppy. Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't want World War 3. Well, it'll be World War 4. I've already had World War 3. I don't want World War 4 starting up again. Westmate says, who's the ha-ha team now? That'd be Arsenal. Right inside, Reece Welch. Katoni Staggs away. Katoni Staggs away. Katoni Staggs away. Katoni Staggs away here. And he will offload the ball back on the inside for Jesse Arthurs here at the 12. Fourth tackle. Lucky because he was about to go over the sideline. Staggs rolls his ball, gets his ball out to Reece Walsh, off to Adam Reynolds. Reynolds now to Va'asemu. And Semu on fifth tackle. You need to hold out this set here, Dragons. You need to hold it out. Reynolds. Where's my sniffy jar? I need the sniffy jar for that one. I need a sniffy jar for whatever the hell Adam Reynolds just did. Oh, man, I need that sniffy jar to get through the absolute dribble that I just saw from Adam Reynolds. So third tackle of the Dragons to the 15. That was absolutely horrific. What was Haas doing? Dave, there is absolutely no way you are blaming Payne Haas for what we just witnessed with Adam Reynolds. There is no way you are blaming Payne Haas for what we just witnessed with Adam Reynolds. There was a Dragons player in front of Payne Haas, and Adam Reynolds literally just handed it to him. Like this. Hello. Here you go. Big boy. Zed Leo says, yo, I think the Broncos are coming back. Yo, I think we're watching a different game to what you're watching. 7.5 minutes to go here in the game, and Gehamad Shibasaki brings this ball to the 45. Let me inhale the whole thing. Other Gold Coast Titans as Dragons are a Super League team playing the NRL. No, Dave, you're not being picked on lately. At the end of the day, you'll put in the comments in. We reply to the same comments all the time. You just notice it more because it's you. But we refer to this in regards to ridiculous comments all the time against just anybody. Origin, you're very well aware why that happened. And in regards to that one, I can't believe that you blame Payne Haas for Adam Reynolds' pass to the Dragons player when there was a Dragons player right in front of Payne Haas. That's not Payne Haas's fault. You just notice it more because it's against you, but this happens with everybody. You are not getting picked on specifically. Va'asemu is going to bring this ball to the 15 on fifth tackle. So what exactly happened with Arsenal again? They lost. Gabriel! Right inside. They're going to score the Broncos. Oh, no. No, St George. 30-18 with the kick to come. They will score. It's Xavier Willison. Oh, no. No, St George. It's about to be maybe a 10-point game here with 6 minutes to go. It's still there. Broncos, this has been a disaster class disgrace of a game here today, but you still have a chance here. You still have a chance. Blame Sloan, Dragons fans. Why are we blaming Sloan now? Jess says, I've got a very sore head after a great Wigan win yesterday. Well, congratulations, Jess. That's awesome. But also, Paris Saint-Germain. Love it. Shane says, hi, mate. Watching from Newcastle. Get around here, Newey. Not an amazing win for you guys. I don't know if you're a Knights fan, but not an amazing win for you guys yesterday, but a win regardless. And Reynolds will get the kick. 10-point game. 5.5 to go. You've left it really late here, Brisbane. You've left it really late, but it can happen still. Just that guy said, if Dragons lose this, I'm going to cry. I feel so bad for the team. They deserve to win this. They 100% deserve to win this. Broncos have been awful. The Broncos have been awful, but what have I always said about that last 20? Luckily for them, they separated a pretty significant gap going into this final 20. But their last 20 in games is horrific. They should win this game. They should not be losing this. 5.5 minutes to go, 10-point game. They still shouldn't be losing this. Westmates last night may have been the last time I run into JC if the Dragons lose this. Breton says, I'll cry for Dragons fans. They find a way. Yeah, it'd be so sad, man. They deserve to win this game. And if they lose this from here, they've forgotten how to win against an awful Bronx team today. And it just should not be happening. So that's going to be Va'asemu brings his ball to the 20 to not give away a penalty. 5 minutes 19 to go here. They don't need to necessarily score on this set, but it would go a long way. Xavier Willison, he's going to bring this ball to the 30 on second tackle. So, Moses, I don't want to hear "I told you, bro" from you. You said you're going to be a fucking Panthers fan 2 seconds ago just because the Broncos were losing. I don't want to hear about "I told you, bro." I don't want to hear an "I told you so" from a Broncos fan who said he was going to start supporting the Panthers 2 seconds ago. I remember your comment, Mr. Broncos fan. They're right inside here. Jesse Arthurs knocks the ball on. That's probably game. There is no way that a Broncos fan who literally 3 minutes or 5 minutes ago was saying that he was going to start supporting the Panthers is going to say "I told you so" in regards to a Broncos comeback. You told us you were going to start supporting Penrith 5 minutes ago, bro. 5 minutes ago. So let's settle down on the old "I told you." Captain's challenge here from the Broncos. They're going to say that there was a... the captain's challenge here, Broncos are trying to say that there's I think, tackle without the ball for Stag or something like that. And... Stags does get hit without the ball. He does technically get hit without the ball. It's soft, but he does technically. Fiona... he does hit him. Yeah, minor contact. The ball's gone past him. So I'm okay with it. But he has been hit without the ball here. Broncos fans aren't going to be happy. But I think it's a good decision. Ben says, Moses is a Bronx fan that transitioned to a Penrith fan. I'm kind of surprised he ain't a Finns fan. He will be at some point. I just love it. Yeah, I told you. I love it. Especially from someone who said they were going to start supporting the Panthers before that last Broncos try. I love it. Aussie Spaceman says, now you guys get why I react like that to what I told you, because that's usually what we get in the chat. Aussie Spaceman says, well, Broncos fans are going to celebrate regardless, win or loss. They'll blame injuries and say we were in the contest the whole game with the fight. There's no way. No, I disagree with you. I don't believe Broncos fans will be like that. We've seen Broncos fans here today. For example, like Olivia, she understands. You've seen Edson. He understands they've been bad. I think Broncos fans are very aware that this is a shit performance. I don't think that they'll say that. They may claim injuries, but at the end of the day, they got a lot of players back for this game. They got a lot of players back. Third tackle over the Dragons. If you score a try here, it's definitely game over. If you don't, there's still a chance of the Broncos, but it'll be a very slight chance. So the left-hand side for the Dragons. Fourth tackle. Now fifth tackle, 15 metres out. Again, don't forget, Raiders versus Cowboys right after this. Damien Cook, left-hand side. 5 metres out. Broncos, you're going to be in challenge to go 95 metres here. Shane Young says, I'm a Knights fan. I feel for the Dragons. I think they will hold on. I think they'll hold on too from here. 2 tries would be ridiculous to give up in 3 minutes 44, but it's entirely possible. Jesse Arthurs now is going to bring this ball to the 10 on first tackle. Lil Busby says, have the Broncos been average? They've been not average. They've been awful, man. They've been awful. Katoni Staggs brings this ball to the 15 now on second tackle. The Broncos today, 66% completion rate. They've had 15 errors in the game. It's just been disastrous. 34 missed tackles, 19 ineffective. Disaster. Broncos offload the ball here, and it's going to be Pia Kurura who gets this ball to the 42 on third tackle. 3 minutes to go. You have to score this set. They go to the right-hand side. Corey Pages to Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt at the back now to Semu. And Semu's going to be the 45 on fourth tackle. You need a try right now. They go to the right. Corey Pages to Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt now gets it to Reece Welsh. Reece Welsh, Stags. Stags locked down. That's going to be forward for sure. That's forward for sure. That's forward for sure. That's a forward pass. And that should be the game, Dragons. And that should be your first win of the season. That should be your first win of the season right there. Stags are throwing the ball forward here. And it's going to be a Dragons masterclass here in... Oh, by the way, if the Broncos score a converted try, that'll be 3 consecutive times in a row the Dragons would have beaten Brisbane at Suncorp 30-26. If that's crazy to think about. If the Broncos score a converted try and the Dragons don't score, the Dragons win by the exact same scoreline 3 years in a row at Suncorp. That's wild to think about. Aussie Spaceman says the Dragons bring the Gatorade. I don't know if bring's a word, is it? The Dragons brought the Gatorade out and are ready to pour it on Dean Young. Celebrate. You won a comp here, Dragons fans. You won a comp. Second tackle now for the Dragons at the 35. Broncos win, then can't pass. Broncos do win the can't pass, can't catch cup. Yeah, absolutely. Happy for you, Dragons fans. You know, I've been called a biased Dragons fan at times in the channel this year because I've wanted you guys to win so much. I am not a Dragons fan, but I've now we got Moses, the newly Panthers fan who told us the Broncos would win, even though he's a Broncos fan, saying fuck the Dragons fans. Oh boy, he's not happy. He's not a happy camper. So it's gonna be Broncos ball here at the 15, but I just don't see us scoring 2 tries in the space of a minute and a half. You would have to just say no to the kick. If you did score, Broncos, you have to throw this ball around. They give it across to Adam Reynolds. Adam Reynolds kicks this ball into the corner where Tony Staggs is. He catches it. He's away here. Staggs at the 40, the 45, the 50, the 45, the 40, the 35. He's still away. Great tackle there from Tyrell Sloan, and he's at the 30 there, Tony Staggs. If they scored right this very second, there's actually a very miniature chance. Broncos, Reece Walsh to Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam to the 30, the 25, the 20, and he flicks underneath to Josiah Katapani. Katapani now the 22nd tackle. Again, if they score a converted try, it's the same score 3 years in a row. They go to the right-hand side. Corey Pakes, 6 again here for the Broncos. Ben Hunt to Xavier Willison. That's a penalty here to the Broncos. 10 metres out, but you've got to be very quick. You've got to be very quick with it. 50 seconds left. Retra says, I'm a Waz fan, but I didn't mind losing the Dragons if it happened. The Broncos said, the Broncos, yeah, well, not looking too great here. They're going to challenge to see the Dragons, but I got to say, if Broncos, if you score here, you need to not take the kick. Mitchell with the $8 donation. Get around your Mitchell. Says a Thunder and a Broncos lost in the same... I didn't even see that. Did the Thunder lose? Did they get knocked out by the Spurs? I haven't even seen that. I only had 4 hours of sleep, bro. Oh, that's awesome. Go to Spurs. That's massive. What a hate watch for 24 hours. Everyone hate watched Arsenal to lose, and now everyone hate watched OKC to lose, and they both lost. Oh, that's a special 24 hours. Not only that, but then the Broncos lose. Not only that, but then the Dragons going to get their first win of the season. What a 24 hours of footy. What a 24 hours of sport. They give it to the right, gives it off to Adam Reynolds. Reece Walsh gets it across. They're going to score. Jesse Arthurs, you can't take the kick. You can't take the kick. It's 30-24. You cannot take the kick here, Broncos. You cannot take the kick. You cannot take the kick here, but this is still game on. 23 seconds to go. Jesse Arthur scores. Yeah, they're not going to take the kick, so it can't be the same scoreline, 30-24. If they take the kick, they're ridiculously stupid. Oh, they're taking the kick. If Reynolds gets this kick from the sideline, it's the same scoreline, and it's the same scoreline 3 years in a row, folks. 30-26. That's insane. 16 seconds to go here. Guys, this is the same scoreline at Suncorp 3 years in a row. 30-26, 30-26, 30-26 to the Dragons. At Suncorp. That's wild. Oh my gosh, they've got 16 seconds to score a try. Surely not. Guys, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Raiders Cowboys in 10 minutes time will be live for. This is going down to the damn well wire. Edson with a $3 donation says same scoreline. Same scoreline, bro. I think I even mentioned someone to throw a little bit of a dabble at the beginning of the stream on that. I did say that at the beginning of the stream. That's some hoodoo stuff. That is bizarre. That is really bizarre. And I'm sure the Dragons would have been underdogs in every game. All right, Broncos will get this ball at the end goal, and it's Reece Walsh. They have to throw this ball around. Ben Hunt kicks his ball to the corner, just like on a putt. Ben Hunt, are you serious? Well, Dragons, you've won your first game of 2026. That was just insane for Ben Hunt to kick that ball like that just then. Obviously, they've got a fullback in. You've kicked it directly to the fullback. They've given your team no chance of anything just then. You have to throw the ball around. That was horrific. Either way, Broncos, I don't know what the fuck we just watched today. Dragons, I'm so happy for you. You get your first win of the season. You are still in last, but at least you're only one win away from last now. Well, essentially two because your points differential, because this won't help your points differential too much. But a win is massive for you. You got your first win of the year, and Broncos, you were the first team to lose this Dragons team all season. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So, yeah, look, that guy is definitely going to be the Panthers now. That is going to be the full-time score here. Again, well done, Dragons. Broncos, if the Cowboys win this next game, you will drop down into 12th position. No, sorry, if the Raiders win this next game, you will drop into 12th position. If the Cowboys win, you will stay in 11th. But That's now separated even more of a gap. If the Cowboys win this game against the Raiders, there is a 4-point gap between 11th and 10th. Wowee. There will be a actually, no, regardless, there's a 4-point gap between 11th and 10th. There's a gap separating between the top 10 and everyone else right now. So that is a scary, scary thing to look at. But, guys, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to switch over to the Raiders versus the Cowboys game, which we're starting to stream up in 6 minutes' time. Obviously, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and successful hate watch of these last 24 hours of sport. But, all right, guys, I'll see you in a bit. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.